Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 201 for Tuesday, the 2nd of April, 2024. I'm your host, Mark Webb, gamertag Pearson at Steam ID, Webby 360G, and joining me today is...
It's Graham, or G-Ham Ox 14.
And Sensei Switch, as per usual.
Well, hey, yeah, so we've had a bit of a break, 3 weeks. 3 long weeks with no podcast. I know, so... It was only meant to be 2 weeks because I went away on a holiday, went to sunny Florida for a week.
Yeah.
Beautiful, 30-degree weather.
Sounds horrendous.
It was lovely. It was really nice because it didn't feel like that because it was, a nice breeze and,
Yeah, it's dry heat. It's dry heat. Although Florida is quite humid.
Yeah, it can be, but it was nice, we did quite a lot. We did. We went to the IndyCar. We did the Kennedy Space Center, which was really good. Busch Gardens. Went to the beach.
Cool.
Saw some gators in real life. Went to the baseball. It was a good time. And then we'll come back to England. Weather's shit. Hasn't stopped being shit. And then I got sick. So I got a really bad cold and ear infection, which never seemed to end.
Yeah.
My ear is still not 100% even now.
Yeah.
But it's better than what it was because I pretty much couldn't hear out of it for about a week. And that's why we didn't do a recording on that third week because I was just fucking rough as. And as I say, I'm still not 100% now, but at least I can talk without coughing and spluttering every couple of minutes. So yeah, that's the reason why there's not been a show for 3 weeks. I'm sure everyone has missed us. But it's been nice to have a break, to be fair. We do this every week. So I'd say it's just nice to have a little break every now and again, right? So, yeah. Played quite a few games in the interim. Not as many as you think I would have done because I, had that week of no gaming, came back, was ill, didn't play much while I was ill, but I've made up for it in the last few days or so. So, all good. And in Graham's news, he has joined the dark side.
I have.
Tell us about it.
I went out this time last week, pretty much exactly to the week actually, and I've bought, not only a new television, but I have purchased a PS5 along with a copy of Helldivers.
Ooh, exciting.
Yeah, and I logged into my digital game library and it's telling me I own 625 games.
That's obviously from your PS3 era of PS Plus, I guess.
There's some PS3, there's some... Yeah, I mean, what I did for a very long time was I kind of kept adding them to my library every month.
Yeah.
Whether I thought I was going to play them or not. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, some of those are like demos, obviously. Some of those are discs, which I might not have access to anymore. Some of them are games which might have been delisted, but I reckon I've probably got about 500 odd games that I've got to sort through and see what I want to play, really. But no, it's good. I've been sort of going through and just sort of dipping in and playing random games, and with PS Plus, a lot of them have there are sort of PS5 versions to some of the sort of PS Plus games or some of the existing games that you might own.
Yeah.
But no, happy days.
Yeah, no,
happy days.
Yes, I think it's a good purchase, especially I think at the moment I think PlayStation 5's looking very strong. Especially if you like those exclusive games, we've just had Helldivers. come out, which is obviously PlayStation exclusive on the consoles. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yeah.
We had obviously Final Fantasy 16. Got Stellar Blade coming. We've just had that Rise of Ronin launch in the past week as well. There's quite a lot of exclusive games coming out for the PS5.
Absolutely.
Which is awesome. So personally, I think, if you like those exclusives, I think PlayStation's looking a hell of a lot stronger than Xbox this year anyway. Not saying obviously in the next couple of years it will be the same, but certainly this year PlayStation's looking very good. And what's quite interesting is I've got PS Plus, and the PlayStation's been on quite a lot over the last 3 or 4 days. I actually bought an extra M.2 SSD and put it into my PS5 yesterday. Just because that 1
really
terabyte,
simple and easy to do, and that.
Oh, it was well easy, and obviously it's the sales are on at the minute, right? So I got a terabyte one off Amazon in a sale, and it's purely because I've been playing it quite a lot, and so's my boy. But what I was going to say is what I find quite interesting is you go through the games on PlayStation Plus, and a lot of them are ones that have now come off of Game Pass and they've now gone on to PlayStation. It's really funny. Yeah, so it's like making me laugh because, like, as an example, Marcus used to enjoy playing a game called Tinykin on Game Pass. Yeah. And then it got delisted late last year, but it's on PlayStation Plus, so we started playing it on PS Plus yesterday. So it's just quite funny, but they have got quite a good selection on the PlayStation Plus now, I think, especially if you're into RPGs. Those PlayStation exclusive JRPGs. A lot of the Star Ocean games are on there, etc. And I find those really good. I've always really enjoyed that franchise. So I think it's actually quite good now. So that's that is a positive.
But another thing that you may or may not have thought of is if you ever get sick of it or you want to upgrade or change something out, you can just slap that SSD into your PC.
Yep, 100%, mate. Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, the PS5. I'm like gaming wise, I'm in a weird place at the minute, mentally. Obviously, my Game Pass is running out in a few days. I've been umming and ahhing whether to resubscribe to it, which I probably will end up doing because obviously my wife plays Sea of Thieves online and obviously need the Game Pass. Even if it's just the basic one for the multiplayer and.
Which still kind of pisses me off. I do get annoyed with the whole where it feels like you're being bribed to fucking access multiplayer for your games.
Well, what I don't understand with Xbox is why they changed the name of it from Xbox Live, just like for the multiplayer,
stupid. It's
to
like
Game Pass Core.
It's to inflate the Game Pass numbers. That's all it was. Like anyone with half a brain cell knows that's basically what it was. Because Xbox Live is such a well-known brand, and to literally just throw that in there. I mean, I still call it Xbox Live at the end of the day.
Yeah, same.
Like, I don't call it Game Pass. So I'm a Game Pass Core, but I don't have Game Pass. I have Xbox Live. I just buy it, or pay to play online. Because obviously that's the way these shitty companies do stuff nowadays. I mean, they've done it for a while, but it's also the fact of like the constant slight pushing the prices up each time.
Yeah.
And to me, I don't play multiplayer anywhere near as much as I used to back in the day. And I think even the multiplayer games have dropped off in quality from what they were back in the day as well.
Yeah.
And it is frustrating because, I used to play a lot of multiplayer on the Xbox. I'm in the same position as you, Darren, where I don't actually need it to play online on my PC because that's my main for me, I'm not talking about my family. For me, my PC is my main Xbox platform now because I use the Game Pass app on my PC and I play all the games on there. But I'm in a weird position. Like if I was single, I probably wouldn't even have an Xbox now because I get all of that access on my PC. But because my wife and my son both play the Xbox, and we've got two Xboxes. We've got a Series S and a Series X, which get used a lot by them. You know, I'm in that position where I have to have the Game Pass Ultimate, really, so they can all use it because I share it between the consoles as well. Yeah. However, there is a weird issue. So I've got my Series S as my home Xbox, so Marcus can play without me signed in on the S, and I can play on the X if we're sitting downstairs because we play Minecraft together, as an example, right? But my wife likes to play Sea of Thieves, right? And she owns it because she did play it on the PC for a bit. But because so basically, she can't play Sea of Thieves online because the main Xbox isn't my home Xbox. Even if I'm signed in as a secondary user, which usually works, it doesn't work anymore. They've done something. So for her to play Sea of Thieves online on the Series X now, she has to buy Game Pass Core for herself, which is fucking annoying. So I'm going to have to end up doing that because otherwise, if I want to play with Marcus, because what we do sometimes is I take the S downstairs and his little monitor, and I'll sit on the sofa and play on the big telly, and he plays on the little monitor. And we play like that instead of sitting in the man cave and using the PC. So yeah, it's just a little bit annoying because I'm going to have to fucking buy a year's worth of Core for the missus, and obviously a year's worth of Ultimate for me. So what they've done, so usually I do it a little bit on the dodgy. I buy 3 years of Xbox Live Gold as it used to be, and then convert that to the Ultimate. And by buying the Brazilian codes, so it works out about 100 quid for 3 years, right? But they've actually changed it. So you can still do it, I've been reading online, but they've changed the conversions now. So instead of like it going to, converting 3 years of gold to 3 years of Game Pass, it converts the 3 years of gold to 2 years of Game Pass.
Right.
Because of the price difference. So you're getting a year less for the same price because obviously a lot of people do the dodgy. Well, it's not dodgy, but that method. You know.
They allowed it to be there.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I do it. Yeah, so I would do it though, Darren, because obviously it's $12.99 a month for Ultimate, or you can pay just over 100 quid, and if it's 2 years for 100 quid, it's still a lot less than fucking 11 or 12.99 a month. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
so if it's 100, divide that by 24, it works out at £4.16 a month. So it's still worth doing. So, but yeah, as I say, I've been playing a lot of the PS5 though, because obviously a lot of those games that were on Game Pass have gone to PlayStation, and Marcus has been wanting to play it, and I've been really enjoying the experience on the PlayStation the past week, just with Helldivers and a few other games I'll get to in a bit, but I think the systems, I don't know, it's just feeling very good at the minute, just from the amount of good games they've got out, exclusives and stuff, so I mean that's just my opinion. Still enjoy the Xbox and the PC, of course, but I'm just feeling a little bit, I don't know, a little bit down on Xbox at the moment, and I think there's a few reasons for that, and I think some of it is some of the media stuff that's come out about Xbox, trying to push certain agendas, which I don't really want to get into too deep on the podcast, but it's just a little bit frustrating. Just with the way they're whinging about the way they're portraying women and stuff, whereas PlayStation don't seem to give a shit and are happy at the minute.
Well, we do say that, but let's like there was a time, like if you'd have gone back a good 5 or 6 years, Stellar Blade wouldn't have come out. It just wouldn't.
What, on the PlayStation?
They got rid of a shitload of games just like that. In fact, franchises have died for Stellar Blade to live, which may or may not get resurrected again if Stellar Blade is a success or not.
Yeah, but it's just obviously with Xbox is going through like a weird time. Well, they've been going through this time for a while where they're trying to push this inclusivity stuff. And don't get me wrong, gaming is for everyone. I completely agree with that.
Gaming has always been for everyone. It's this classic fallacy. Yeah. It's this classic fallacy of things weren't for everyone back in the day, and you need to see yourself in something to... You fucking don't. There's so much evidence against that bullshit statement. It is unreal.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just use that as an excuse to push forward with all this nonsensical shite that the customers don't particularly want or care about.
Yeah, and this is why
we've seen it time and time again. Those games just don't make the money that they hoped they were going to make. They aren't they're not very successful.
Yeah, 100%.
And there's only so many times they can be taught that lesson before it actually fucking sinks in. Or you're going to end up seeing the death of like a lot of AAA, and the indies and the other studios are going to come in and start taking all the money because they're actually going to give people the games that they actually want.
Yeah.
Well, the rest of the industry calls everyone names. Basically. That seems to be the MO for most things these days. But yeah, that's sort of kind of going off into the news a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, what's been quite interesting is Xbox have come out and said, you know, they don't know why their games aren't selling as well, etc., etc. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, well, it's quite obvious to me why they're not selling. And it's what you've just said, Darren. You know, they're trying to push an agenda, like make women less appealing, etc., etc. And those sort of games just don't sell. And
I mean, that's a slight thing. I mean, you have got a massive thing of games coming out completely half-baked and unfinished.
Yeah.
Exclusives coming out that were a massive disappointment.
Yeah. What some news? Oh no, I'm just touching on some news, but it's quite relevant. News this week came out. Forspoken, which was one of those games that had the ESG nonsense and all that. That obviously didn't sell very well, and the studio's now been shut down in the past week.
Oh no, I think they sold off the studio, didn't they? I thought they shut it down a while ago, actually, because it lost them like millions of pounds.
Yeah. So I just thought that was quite interesting. So, and it's just making me feel just a little bit like, come on, Xbox. And it's not just that for me. It's, you know, there was a time a couple of years ago where Xbox to me felt super exciting because they bought up all these studios, you know, a lot of big studios, and in my opinion, we just haven't seen the games yet. And it's really frustrating. And the games that have come out, as Darren has rightfully said, have launched broken. You know, one of the biggest disappointments was Redfall. I mean, I still quite enjoyed it, but it was, it wasn't great. But the other one for me was obviously Forza, because that launched pretty broken. It still doesn't run right on PC even now. They've definitely improved it now, but it shouldn't have launched as broken as it was, right? And this isn't the first time that Microsoft have done this. You know, you go back to, Halo Master Chief Collection 10 years ago, and it took them about 5 or 6 years to fucking fix the multiplayer. So it's not like it's not like a super recent thing, but it just seems to be more and more common now, and it's just very frustrating. As a huge fan of the brand, yeah.
Oh yeah, like I say, my favourite system from the last gen. As much as I like the PS3 towards the end of its life cycle, and it's got some fantastic games on it, I just loved the 360 during that period.
Same,
The gaming on it was great. The socialising on it was great. And then it just got a bit too corporate, and then things started to fall apart from there onwards.
Yeah,
and they haven't really retained that back. I think. It's like there's a thing someone actually said. It's very easy to lose customers. It's even harder to get them back.
Yeah.
Once you've lost them.
Definitely. And, for me personally, I kind of pushed myself through that Xbox One era, which wasn't very good.
It still had some good games. I will still defend. I still like Dead Rising 3. I really enjoyed that on release, and I really enjoyed Rise, Son of Rome on release.
Oh, yeah, it was a good game. But, I felt with the Series X, with the series systems, they've brought it back. They're focusing on the systems and all that, and there's not really still been anything that's really made me jump up in the air and go, wow, you know what I mean?
It really feels like they sort of panicked and changed direction and tried to use Game Pass to fill the gap. And now they don't know how to get back to where they were. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's like Xbox and Sony have different strategies, right? I think Sony are playing their cards right, to be honest, with keeping their exclusives at a premium. They're not on the service at launch.
Yeah.
A lot of them still aren't. I would have thought Gran Turismo would be on there by now, but it's not. So they're keeping that kind of essence of our titles are a premium, right? Whereas Xbox are like, all our games are coming to Game Pass day one. As a consumer, that's great value, right? But
you don't even need an Xbox to play our games.
No, but the quality just isn't the same. There's,
No.
And that's the problem.
That's an issue. I don't know if that's an issue as well. Because we've talked about this before. Having one system to develop for is really good.
Yeah.
Because it just means that you're only dealing with one thing. There's a game we'll obviously talk about later today that on every platform was basically launched like pretty shitty performance-wise.
Yeah.
And it's
what that could be.
Yeah, and it's like, I wonder how much better that could have been if you'd have maybe developed that for a couple of systems first and then another system further down the line.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to do it all at the same time. I'm not a programmer or a developer or any of that kind of thing, but this might be why, as soon as, because it literally, you can almost literally fire it as soon as they started putting Xbox One games on PC. That was when the quality fucking went downhill.
Well, even Microsoft Studios can't release their games on PC at a decent, just decently. They're full of.
Halo 5 and Gears 4 weren't great, and that was before they decided to shift to have it as a platform rather than a single system. But then everything since that point, I think, is kind of weird because again you're developing for two different systems as well. PS5 is just PS5 whether you buy the digital or the physical version of it, or the disc version or the digital version. The whole system is architecture is exactly the same. Xbox, you're trying to make it for 2 or 3 different powered systems.
You've got Series S, Series X, PC, and they're still making a lot of games for the One as well.
One X, the One and the One X, which has kind of been discontinued.
Yeah, so I completely understand that. And, and you look at some of the games that aren't just Sony games, right? You've got other devs that make games purely for the PlayStation. like Farm Fantasy as an example, and I look at the quality of the graphics of, say, Rebirth or 16, and I'm just like, I'm blown away, man. Fucking amazing. And that is one of the reasons, as you say, Darren, is because they've concentrated on that one system.
Yeah.
You know?
Try and get it done. Try and get it done right.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of going back to like Rise, Son of Rome, this was a weird thing I did actually learn. Remnant 2.
Yeah.
That's the team behind that is made up of old Crytek developers.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Because I remember saying to a friend of mine, like, I wonder who the company is behind Remnant and why the game plays so well as like a shooter. Like the hitboxes on it are really good and it's really smooth and fluid and it looks great, obviously, in the engine. And they're kind of classed as like a AA stroke indie developer.
Yeah.
And they're really good at obviously optimizing their games. And then when I looked it up, it was like, oh, they're basically made up of former Crytek developers. And I was like, everything makes sense now.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like Crytek, if you go back to obviously the PC, they were like one of the top developers, weren't they? They were kind of like, their games were the ones where you'd be like, oh, if your system can run Crysis, you know what I mean? With all that fandangling stuff it had, like graphically and that was usually like a benchmark game.
Yes, 100%.
But yeah, sorry to take it off the rails.
That's all right, mate. No, that's great. Yeah.
It's all good.
So, anyway, should we get into some of the games we've been playing while we've been away?
Absolutely.
If we must.
Yes, indeed we do. Well, I think we'll start with Graham then. We'll go from there.
Shall I talk about old games or shall I just talk new stuff this week?
Well, it depends how many games you got, mate. If you got about 100, then no.
It could be a lot. But what I'll do then is I'll just talk about, I was going to say that I've completed Rage 2, sorry. I ran the end credits. It's an old game. But, it's a good way to kind of kill a dozen or so hours. It's not a bad game. Definitely worth a look.
Cool.
Right, okay, so I was going through my digital library on PS5 and I saw a couple of games which I thought, I haven't played that. And the first game I'm going to talk about, Grid Legends on PS5 by Codemasters.
Oh, yeah, I enjoyed that game. It's good.
It's actually, it's not bad, is it? I mean, it's sort of a little bit different in that it takes you on a story. You're an aspiring driver and you do sort of kind of mixtures of races, but you kind of do a lot of very, very different stuff.
Yeah.
One race might be sort of Formula Ford, then the next race will be something like a touring car, and then the race after that it'll be like souped up pickup trucks. But it's sort of it plays really nice. It looks really good. The handling feels good. I mean, I was always a fan of the grid games back on the sort of 360 and that, but this game is probably cheap everywhere now, but it's I'm really enjoying it actually. It's definitely worth a look if you're into your motorsport.
Yes.
Are they still going, Codemasters?
Oh, they're owned by EA, I think, aren't they?
Yeah,
they are indeed. Yeah.
I was just wondering, like, because I don't really hear anything from them outside of like the driver and rally games.
I think they make the F1 game
it was
as well,
Colin McRae. Yeah, what was the Colin McRae one that they changed to a rally? It was like
WRC.
Dirt.
Oh, Dirt. Sorry, I'm an idiot.
Dirt.
Yeah, it was Dirt. They transformed it into Dirt.
Dirt's good. Yeah. No, but it's good. Definitely worth a look. It's probably going to be cheap everywhere, I guess, by now, because I think it's quite old, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's on Game Pass as well. I think. I'm not sure. It's double check.
Well, I think
they do the F1 games, don't they, as well?
Yeah.
So their forte is racing games, basically, just full-on racing games. Because I think they brought in as...
Sorry, they did do Operation Flashpoint back in the day as well, didn't they? Which was amazing. And then
they did, yeah.
Went back to racing games again.
Which is a shame because there's a fucking gap in that market.
Mm-hmm.
in the tactical third-person shooter market. Outside of like Ghost Recon, which kind of shit the bed with its last entry, and the fact that it kind of went all open world and everything. There hasn't really been anything in that outside of like the PC, and I haven't really heard too many PC games either that are kind of like that recently. I think the things like Armour and stuff have just carried on with like mods and updates, haven't they, rather than just bringing out new games.
Yeah.
No, but that's it really.
Okay. What about you then, Darren? Anything?
Let's go to one of the first sort of bits and bobs. One of the more recent games that I haven't put a great deal of time into it, and I kind of like it but don't like it at the same time. It's a very weird one. Alone in the Dark.
Oh yeah.
Now, you've played this, haven't you, Webby? I don't know how much. Have you put much time into it at all?
Only about an hour.
Right.
So
sorry, carry on.
Yeah, it's odd because I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but it's so you go into this house. It's basically a copy of the original, right? In some aspects, right?
Except the location's different and stuff, I believe.
Yeah, so you go into the house but then you get transported to this like town, like in this other world or whatever, and it's just really weird.
So the setting is interesting. So it's set in New Orleans in like what, the 40s or the 50s, something like that.
Yeah.
And you either play as Jodie Comer's character or David Harbour's character. So you've got these two separate sort of characters. You've got this woman who's looking for her father, who's in this like mental home. And you've got David Harbour, who's basically the private investigator that's just accompanying her. Yeah. And depending on who you choose at the start of the game will depend on like the story that goes and like the different narratives that play out through it. And you obviously need to play as them both to see different perspectives and to be able to pick up certain items throughout the game, because there's like these weird collectibles, and it does say you need to play as both characters to be able to get all of them.
Yeah.
So there's obviously weird things going on at this like mental home that they've been sent to. And then they tie in the fact that obviously New Orleans and that is like the bayou and all of that lot, and you've got obviously a heavy sort of African population that lives in that part of the world, or in that part of America, like in the deep south, and it ties in all this voodoo stuff as well, which is like obviously well known to the area. I mean, you've got like countless things on it, like even like the Princess and the Frog. It's all set around that same sort of setting. So that was quite interesting and cool. And it also means that they can have all these new and different interesting sort of characters in it. Yeah. And there's parts of the game. Now, I will say this game reminds me of Silent Hill quite a bit. When it comes to obviously the exploration and other things. So you'll be walking around the mansion sort of almost like solving puzzles and like searching for things, almost like a point and click adventure game, like scribbling in your notebook, finding clues, trying to figure out what's going on. Like you'll pick up something that you'll be able to then use somewhere else, and you get a map as well of the area which shows you which doors are locked, which ones you have access to, where you might have puzzle keys, and other bits get put in a journal that you can go back and refer to here and there. But then, I don't know, you obviously got to the point, Webby, where you'll be playing the game and it does that Silent Hill thing where 1 minute you stood there and then the next minute that same area is something completely different.
Yeah.
And those moments are really cool. But then it's also followed up with something else that's very much akin to Silent Hill. Really awful combat.
Yeah.
Like, really
it's
awful
really clunky,
combat.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, really clunky and weird. Like when you fire your gun, it sounds like there's a delay from like even the sound of firing it and stuff.
Yeah.
But like everything else about the game I like outside of the shitty combat.
Yeah, as I said, I've not put enough time into it to really make a judgment.
I mean, Yeah, so I've put, I think it's about 2.5, 3 hours into it. And I'm finding the characters interesting and weird. I like exploring the place and trying to figure out all the different bits and bobs. I love it when the scenery just completely shifts on you. Like you'll open a door, and instead of walking out into the corridor, you're like walking out into like a swamp.
Yeah.
With like all these creatures and that scattering across the walls and stuff. So I'm looking forward to sort of playing more. I've obviously been sidetracked with other stuff.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I actually found baffling is on Xbox, at least, the game is 2 discs.
Right.
Which is...
Why is it 2 discs?
I have no idea. Because the game is under 30 gig.
Weird.
Like, in size. Which, again, surprised me, because if I remember correctly, that Alone in the Dark prologue, you know, like the 10-minute demo or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That was like 16, 17 gig.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And because I was like, fucking hell, if that's the size of the demo, the game's going to be monster.
Yeah, when it isn't.
Because obviously it's the full game. And then it's like, no, it's literally like the game's like under 30 gig, but yet it's got 2 discs. So I installed the first disc, and then the game just, like, the installer was like, put in disc 2. So I literally put in disc 2, and it went whip, whip, whip. And then it went put in disc 1, and that was it.
Weird.
And I was like, there was absolutely no reason whatsoever for it to have 2 discs, as far as I'm aware. Unless, if you're playing it from disc, maybe, even though you technically don't play it from disc, it's just like an authentication key, because maybe the different discs are for which character you're playing. So maybe if I was playing as the other character, it would ask me to put in disc 2. Or something. I generally don't know. But to me, that was baffling and weird. But as soon as I saw the 2 discs, I was like, oh, this is a heft. You know what I mean? Like, even like Cyberpunk and that was like 2 discs. But for a game that's like... Because as far as I'm aware, like the Blu-ray discs and that, they can hold up to 50 gig.
Yeah.
Or more if they're dual layer or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah, it's
and
weird,
for it to like need 2 discs, I was just like, what are you doing? I didn't get that. So that was like a really puzzling thing. But yeah, I think it's going to be one of those games that if you see it nice and cheap, you might quite like it. But it's hard to recommend it like completely fully, I guess.
Right.
Because obviously it's not a full price game. I think it was like only about 40 odd quid instead of like the usual sort of like 50, 60 plus or whatever it was. But yeah, it's like I say, it's like that weird love and hate. There's parts of it I really like, and there's, like I say, and then there's the combat. They'll just say it like that. Yeah, everything by the combat is really well done.
Yeah.
Just whenever I get into combat, it's just like, oh god. But then the combat sometimes takes place in really well made and designed areas.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Stuff. So yeah. Hopefully, when there's a lull, it'll be one of those things that I can just quickly dive back into and play a little bit more of and crack on with. Because, like I say, the characters are interesting. It seems to have little elements from like multiple things. Like I said, you got like the point and clicky adventure stuff that reminded me very much of the Broken Sword type of gameplay.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you've got like the dual worlds aspect, very much like Silent Hill, and then because even though we put on like we love those Silent Hill games, like Silent Hill 1, 2, etc., etc., but the majority of what people loved about those games is the gritty, grim atmosphere and everything.
Yeah.
Because yeah, the combat in those games was terrible as well. Like when you think about it, but you didn't do much of it because you generally don't do much combat in a survival horror game because it's a survival horror. You're not supposed to be going around smashing everything to pieces. You're supposed to be trying to survive.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, back to me then. So, just before I went on holiday, I managed to finish the story of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and wowzers, it was amazeballs. Now, I will say that as a mega fan of the original, I pick up on certain things, and I'm not going to give spoilers, but they changed some stuff that I don't think many people would actually notice. So I don't know if you remember, Darren, how much you remember of the original game.
It's a fair bit here and there.
But there's a minor, it's not really a spoiler because it doesn't really matter, but I noticed it straight away. On the world map, right, in the original, the Temple of the Ancients is on the southern island on the world map.
Right.
Yeah. In Rebirth, they've actually changed its location.
Is that because you're on a separate world entirely?
Well, I actually put some posts up online. I'm in a Reddit group and a Facebook group, and a lot of people didn't even notice because obviously they'd never maybe not played the original or don't remember. But then some people
it's been so long, yeah.
Yeah, or some people said they noticed it. Some people think it makes sense. I don't know, man. I mean, I love the game. I think it's great, but I'm a little bit on the fence on some of the story changes that they've made. Obviously, I'm not going to say anything. But overall, a fantastic experience because what I love about Rebirth is they've done such a good job of redoing all the locations in obviously modern graphics, like the first town you go to, Calm, Junon, the Gold Saucer, Cosmo Canyon, all those locations. They are so well done. They've done such a good job of just making it just look so real, so alive, and they've actually made the locations, like the layouts are very similar to the original game, but obviously they've added bits and bobs, right?
Yeah, because you were in just a sort of isometric view, weren't you, in the original, like on a static screen?
Yeah, that's right. So, but they've done such a good job of keeping that kind of originality there of the layout, which I really like. So that's really good, and I really like the world map, the exploration with the chocobos. There's a lot of positives, really. There's only a few negatives that I come away from the game, and that is so the world map is like done in sections, and each section it becomes a little bit. If you want to do all the side stuff, then I think you're going to get a little bit annoyed. Like I got to a point in the game where I just stopped doing them because I just got very repetitive. Not the actual missions themselves. Go on, Darren.
I was about to say the only thing I generally see people moaning about, and I still see people moaning about them now, that maybe gives it away on Twitter, is there's apparently shitloads of mini games in it.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people getting really frustrated with them. A few people, in fact, saying this is going to stop me getting the platinum because this really winds me the hell up, basically.
Yeah, so there is I know. So there's that King's Blood, where it's called, like the card game, which I actually quite like, and I've gotten used to it. One of the mini games to get the platinum, you need to do. Remember in Remake, you had the pull-ups with Tifa. In this one,
right, yeah. And
on this one, on this one it's sit-ups, and it's well hard, Well, I've not been able to do
there
it.
again. They've already done it in the previous game, though.
No, well, it makes sense. It does make sense. I'm not going to say anything else.
All right.
But no, so it's not the actual side quests that I find frustrating because they're like their own little stories and their characters. They involve a lot of characters from the original game and stuff. So no, I don't mind those. It's the Chadley stuff that fucking grates me after. It grated me after a while because every area it's like, go and unlock these 3 or 4 towers in the area, and then it unlocks all these other things to explore, like all these fights and like these caves and stuff like that. And it's just, oh, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? It's just very samey. But I do say that most of the side quests I did like. When I got to Gongaga region, I kind of gave up on the side quests because there's a couple there which are redonkulous. So one of them involves Yuffie, and you've got to do some fighting stuff when you have certain objectives during the fight. But because I've leveled my characters up quite a lot, I'm killing the enemies before I can do these certain things. So I'm finding it really difficult to do.
I've hated that. There's been games that have actually done that before. It's like you need to do this move, then that move, then that.
Yeah.
Or something, and you're like, oh, they're dead. Brilliant. Yeah. How am I supposed to do this?
Yeah. And there was another mission where I was just like, this is fucking stupid. There's a side mission for this lady, and her chickens have got lost on the world map.
But what do you mean world map? Like in the area, you mean? Surely?
No, you got to look like but there's kind of like seamless, if that makes sense. You go out of the area, and you can just walk back in, if that makes sense. This, and you got to like coax this chicken to follow you, and it is really slow and takes forever, and it's really far away from her in the town. And I was just like, fuck this stupid shit. I'm not doing this.
Just pick it up and just take it back.
No, you can't. You've got to drag this stupid fucking bell, right? To call to get the chicken to follow you. And I was just like, oh, fuck this. It's just, because it got to that point where I was just like, this is just meaningless crap to make the game last longer.
Yeah, fluff.
Yeah. Exact word, good word, fluff, filler, fluff, bollocks, right? I was like, no, I don't need to do this shit. I just want to enjoy because before there, I just really enjoyed all the side stuff. And then I was just like, I can't be asked anymore. So I just mainlined the rest of the main quest, and I really enjoyed it, And there's been a few articles online explaining this exact experience that I've had where people said, look, don't feel like you need to do everything in each area. Because, because I know a lot of people like you, Darren, you get a bit of OCD when you're gaming, and you're like...
Oh, I get massive OCD for that. It's like, I'm not moving on until I've done everything in this area.
Yeah, and you kind of... Yeah, and in this, you kind of need to let that go and just be like, fuck this, just do the main stuff. And then as soon as I let go of that OCD and just concentrated on the main quests, I enjoyed the game so much more.
Would you have actually enjoyed... just a little theory. Do you reckon you'd have maybe been a bit more patient with those things if you weren't trying to finish the game before you went away?
Maybe, I don't know, but it was just... I don't know, mate, actually. It is a good point, but...
Because I know you were constantly saying, I really want to get it finished before I go away, and then you're just literally getting to stuff like that, and you're like, oh, come the fuck on, I just want to get on with it.
I don't know, because because even without going away, wanting to get it done before a certain day, it was annoying. You know what I mean? And I was just like, oh, I just want to enjoy the story, and I just, as I say, I just felt like I enjoyed the game. Well, not because I enjoyed the game up to then anyway, right? But I just enjoyed the main story just as it was, you know what I mean, without doing all the 8 more side stuff, because I felt a little burnt out of all the side stuff anyway. So, Yeah,
because no doubt the Gold Saucer itself is probably full of loads of different mini games and activities and things to do as it is anyway.
But the cool thing is, right, is once you complete the game, like in the original, you get chapter select, and you can just go back to whatever chapter, but it saves all your progress for all the side content. So
up to the point you got them to, you're right.
Yeah, so today I was playing it, and I've just gone to one of the later chapters where where I can do the open world, and I was doing some of the side stuff anyway. So as I say, you don't have to do it before you finish the game because you can go back and do it anyway. So it doesn't really matter. So it's just another top tip there. But it's a great game. I just graphically, it's insanely good. It really, really is. It looks phenomenal, and I've just really enjoyed it. It's just so much content there. I think even if you just mainline the main story, it's about 40 or 50 hours just if you do the main stuff on its own. It took me about 70 or 80 hours to finish. And I loved it. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. It's easily the best game I've played this year. And by a large margin, I've played, some good games this year, including Yakuza, which was fucking amazing. This just stands on a pinnacle on its own, in my opinion. And perhaps part of that is because I'm a mega fan of the franchise anyway, but I think they've just done such a good job with the gameplay, the fights, the story, the characters. Everything just comes together so well that it's just a masterpiece, in my opinion. And that's that. Top that, Graham.
Well, the next game I've played, I bought a physical game when I picked up my PS5. I've been playing Helldivers. Nice. I wanted to see what everybody was talking about. And the first thing that struck me about this game, screenshots don't do it justice. It's a very pretty game.
Yeah. But the first thing that struck me when I played the game?
What's that?
Fucking meteorite right on my fucking head.
Did you buy it? I didn't know you bought it, Darren.
I've played it. I haven't bought it. My friend's bought it. I've played it around his house though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But no, it's just it's sort of. I think it knows exactly what it wants to be, and it sort of nails it really. And it's one of those games that I think a lot of people are very forgiving of the fact that it has microtransactions because it's done in such a way that you're sort of not buying yourself any shortcuts so much, are you, in this? You can earn them, or you can sort of, pay the money. But no, I mean, once you get a mission happening and you're sort of dug in and you're sort of defending your point and you're calling in your stratagems and you're trying to sort of work with a team, it becomes a really good game. It's just good fun. It's sort of, it knows it's cheesy. It's sort of going for that sort of Starship Troopers vibe, which everybody is sort of talking about. But it's a good game. It just sort of plays well and it does what it needs to do, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, and what I like about it is it brings to me, it brings back that pure joy I felt when I was used to play online on the 360. Yeah. Because, a lot of my friends on PlayStation are playing it and also on PC. Yeah. Whenever I load up my PlayStation, there's always a load of people on my friends list playing it, which is great.
Yeah.
And you can just drop into their game easily. It's just simple.
Drop in. Drop in, drop out, easy, isn't it, really?
Yeah, and
that's what it needs to be.
Yeah, and the game isn't complicated, and it's just fun to play. And, I did a session with Stunty and Peebs this past week, and Peebs kept us putting us on this fucking stupid planet with fire tornadoes, and Peebs kept on setting himself on fire, and we were just laughing the whole time we were playing it, and I was just like, yeah, this is like a 360 game, and it was just good, just pure fun, not taking it serious at all. And that's kind of what's been missing in gaming, I think, and it's just fun to play.
its simplicity is what helps it a lot, because you know what it's like in the days of the sort of your Call of Duty or your Battlefields or whatever. So and so's got a season pass and has got the levels, but one person hasn't, so they can't join. It's that sort of where they sort of piecemeal the content. I think it just makes it more complicated for people to get together online. And this is a nice, even base that everybody can get in on, spend their 30 quid, which is what the game is. It's not an expensive game. You just load it up, and it's just simple, and it's just fun, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, the higher level people have more stratagems that they can use. But that, but that's kind of really the only progression in the game, and it's not a deal breaker if you put it on the easier level settings for the newer players, anyway. So,
yeah.
It's a good game.
I think you can get there's some enjoyment to be had there for sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's just a shame it's not on Xbox as well, because I think it would be a perfect game on the system. But obviously, it's a Sony-owned studio that's pushed it out, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a good fun game, man. 100% agree.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone should have it, I think.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for
definitely.
I'm just waiting for cross progression to happen, and then I'm going to buy it again on PC. But that's not happening yet. So
right. Fantastic.
Cool. Back to you then, Darren.
I'll talk about a demo I played within the last few weeks, which I think is available on both Xbox at least and PlayStation, possibly PC as well. And that is Sandland.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the latest, probably the last game based on a IP by the now deceased Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, and obviously people will know that he created the character designs for Dragon Quest, etc., and multiple other franchises like All-Chan, etc. And this is like his new open world sort of game where you go around playing as like a demon kid. I haven't actually read the manga or really know too much about it, so this was my first experience with the IP. And it's quite a lot of fun. You go around in like a big sort of openish kind of area with like dinosaurs and other things and like sand bandits, etc. But it mixes sort of on foot fighting combat with sort of like almost tank combat per se. Right. It's going to be like an action RPG. With like different biomes, etc. in it as well. They showcased in a trailer a while back that there's like different worlds rather than it being just like a big sandy area. You are going to go to other areas that aren't like that, where it's going to be like more lush and green and water and all that kind of stuff. I enjoyed what I played of it. There's not really a great deal I can say about it because the demo doesn't give away really that much. There's no story per se or anything that I experienced. I was just basically sort of travelling about, beating up bandits and raiding their camps for sort of like equipment for your tanks or mechs and stuff and things. But it's all done in a very nice, pleasing art style. The graphics were nice and crisp. It ran at a good frame rate. Which is generally all I can ask for a game like that, especially that looks like in the style that it's done in.
It looks a little Borderlands-y, like art. The art
kind
style.
of, yes, in the way it's done, yeah. But the character design and everything is like pure Toriyama.
Yeah.
Like it's so distinct, his art style. You just looked at it and you'd be like, boom. Like even like when you first saw the art for Blue Dragon.
Right. Okay.
The game on the 360, etc. You're like, oh yeah, there he is again. Like,
interesting.
So yeah, that's actually out within the next couple of weeks. So that's one that I will definitely be picking up.
Cool.
One thing I was actually going to ask, because obviously when I was looking into this with demos and people talking about demos, did you back Eden Chronicle or did you not?
No.
Because I think the people that were backers actually got a playable demo of it
Oh,
as well
right.
recently.
Not even heard of
But I
this.
know that's out. 100 Heroes.
Oh, yes, that's out on Game
Yeah.
Pass, isn't it, soon?
Yeah, it's coming out to Game Pass, yeah. So there you go. There's a reason, I suppose. They got you again, mate. There you go. There's your Game Pass renewal.
Yeah.
So, because I think this game's going to be right up your alley.
Yeah, it does look pretty good, doesn't
But
it?
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a demo for that I see people talking about
Okay.
online as well.
Oh, nice.
And I wondered where it was because I was like, I haven't seen it anywhere. And then I sort of like, I think it was for just backers only through Steam or whatnot.
I can't even see any demo gameplay on YouTube.
It's possibly under NDA. I mean, there's enough trailers there for people to get an idea of what it is.
Yeah.
It's like one of those very old school style RPGs you used to get on like the early PlayStations, but done with that really nice new sort of 3D pixely kind of thing that was. I wouldn't say necessarily the same sort of style they used with what was the game on the Switch? Octopath.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That looks good, mate.
I wouldn't say it was exactly that sort of style, but very sort of similar.
Yeah.
A lot of sort of zooming in, of nice use of like the pixel art and stuff.
Yeah. No, it does. It looks good. I'm looking forward to this one. Nice. Nice. Is it me? It's back to me again. I guess.
It is, yeah.
I went back and played and completed Resident Evil 3 Remake because it went to Game Pass.
Oh, right, yeah. Did that take you one day?
It took me about a week on and off.
All right.
I mean, it's short.
It's supposed to be really short, isn't it, in comparison to the others?
But I was playing it in quite small bursts, to be fair. I'm pretty sure I'd played it before, but I didn't have any Chivos for it, so obviously I've not played it on Xbox. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it because graphically it looks amazing. I played it all on PC on Game Pass, and it just looks gorgeous. Quite short, but a lot of fun. Just a very short, fun little game, really. I mean, I was a massive fan of of this game on the PS1. You see. So got very fond memories of stars and and Nemesis bursting through the walls and stuff. So yeah, I just wanted to say I enjoyed playing through that again. It was a lot of fun. So if anyone's got Game Pass and not played it, give it a go. And I'm just going to briefly mention that I've been playing a hell of a lot of. I think I mentioned it on the last podcast. Actually, I only just picked it up, but I'm still playing it pretty much every day. It's a little card game called Balatro. It's basically.
Oh yeah, I remember looking it up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like a retro. It's very retro on the style, like stylized, but it's basically poker, but done in a way where it's like you do runs and you get like these Joker cards that give you different buffs. And it's just a fun game. I've been playing it a lot on my Steam Deck, and it's just very chilled out. And it's just got its hooks into me. I play it a lot. I've not completed a run yet because it's just so fucking hard. I know Wes has. But yeah, it's not an easy game. But as I say, it has its hooks into me. It's a lot of fun. So, and as I say, it's on everything. It's on all consoles and PC. I've also read it's coming to mobile phones this year as well. So,
oh wow.
Yeah, I just want to give that game a shout out because it is a lot of fun. It's very simple, especially. I mean, if you know how to play poker, then your quid's in, right? But it's just a good twist on poker, and it's just really really good. So, yeah, check it out. It's really fun.
Cool.
Back to Graham.
Right. Well, I went through my digital library, and I had a couple of games which I think I must have purchased way back when they came out, and they had PS5 equivalents. I'm going to kind of chat about the one I spent the most time playing. Was the Tony Hawk remaster of 1 and 2, actually.
Okay. Yeah. Good games, man.
And just fantastic. Really good games. Again, they've I think they've kept all the tracks as in all the music tracks from the original game, which is something that you don't hear very often. And I think they've actually got some extra ones, and they've given everything a bit of a coat of paint, and everything looks a bit nicer. And it's all sort of tied together with a sort of a progression screen sort of menu, and you can flip between the first game and the second game. You can kind of level your skater up. You can buy moves. You can decorate their board. But at this stage, it's quite an old game, and I think this might have been one of the very first games that
PS1.
came out. PS1, yeah, I remember. But it still stands up today. It's still good fun.
Cool.
Yeah, it's quite a good. I mean, I think I bought the remaster when it came out a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
but it has quite a lot of content in it. It's pretty decent. So I'd imagine again it's probably fairly cheap now if you know where to look. I think you'd probably pick it up for a tenner or something.
Yeah.
But it's sort of a bit of a nostalgia trip for myself, really, because I think it's one of the very, very first games I owned for PS1 back in the day.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's good fun. Love it.
Awesome.
Can't go wrong. Bit of Marseille.
Yeah.
Can you still play as Spider-Man in it?
I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
I don't know if it was in the first one, but it was in the second one. I definitely remember.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm going to have a look at that.
I don't remember seeing it in there because I got the remasters ages ago. And one of the things that stuck out to me when I played it was I forgot how fucking hard these games are.
They are quite tricky, yeah.
Yeah, but it's still a lot of fun. They changed some of the music tracks from the originals as well because of licensing and stuff, which is a little bit annoying.
Oh, they did, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of inevitable because you just pay for the license and then the artist is either no longer around or you've got to jump through hoops to get hold of something else that deals with that agent to decide if you want to pay them the money, and sometimes they're just like, oh, screw it, we'll just put something else in.
Yeah. Cool. Back to Darren.
Right. I'll just quickly do a few quick fire ones, and then throw it back to you before we get into some other stuff.
Yeah.
Rise of Ronin. I've played it for about 20 minutes. I haven't put a great deal of time into it at all. Yes, it's because I was like playing other things. It came out at the same time as another game we're going to talk about.
Well, that's my next game actually. Funny enough, so yeah.
Yeah. And instantly, straight away, I was kind of like, this combat doesn't feel as good as like Nioh or Wolong.
Are those the other two games that they made?
Yes, yeah. So it's the same studios that made Nioh and Wolong and stuff. Like it's another game as well that doesn't seem particularly well optimized.
Right.
So I think when you're running it at like performance mode, I've heard that the resolution is like a checkerboarded 1080p, kind of upscaled to look like it's a higher resolution than it actually is.
Right.
And it's not a graphically taxing game either. And like you look at other things like Wolong and Nioh and stuff, I thought they were pretty damn good looking games when they came out.
Did you play much of Wolong yourself?
Yeah, I've played quite a bit of it. Yeah, I'm about probably over halfway through it.
because it's on Game Pass, right? It was one of those games that came to Game Pass at launch, and I didn't like it. I played it for about an hour and was like, "This." I thought it was shit. Personal opinion, of course, and
It's got good aspects and it's
uninstalled
got
it.
bad aspects to it. It's like the fighting to get your battle power up, like to get the flags to obviously increase your constant level power and stuff and all that lot. I found that kind of annoying, but it was just kind of obviously a gameplay mechanic they decided to go for. But yeah, so I haven't played a lot. I will say at the start of the game, I wasn't expecting you to be able to choose a character.
Right.
So
okay.
the game's basically revolves around two people that are like sword kin or sword brothers or something weird like that. They're known as.
Right.
So it's basically two kids from a village that are rescued by like a master when their village gets attacked by the current shogunate. Because their village was producing weapons, and the shogun at the time obviously took an offence to that and decided to sort of obviously take them out.
Mm-hmm.
You're trained up, and it's basically like a little boy and a girl that are rescued, and then it cuts to them years later, all grown up, and you basically get to pick which one you want to play as. But you can also kind of fondle around with them in the character creator as well. So you can kind of personalise them rather than actually having them looking exactly like the main character did in a lot of like the early promo material. So that was kind of a nice surprise. But like I said, I haven't really played with it much through then. I'm currently like doing an infiltration mission on a ship in the middle of the sea or pulled off to port, which is basically, as far as I'm aware, like a Western arms dealer that's working with stuff. So there's that, which I'll hopefully play more of and talk about at some point in the future. I hammered out the rest of the Battle Pass content for Diablo 4. Which the latest one is Season of the Construct. Who's playing Mario Kart? It sounded like Mario Kart.
That was me.
All right. Just a distinct sound I always remember. Yeah, that Season of the Construct is fine. I hammered. See, the thing was, I hammered through because I had a funny feeling the Battle Pass was going to finish in around like the 2 weeks into April, and I thought, with all the games coming out soon that I want to play, I want to kind of get that done. I don't want to be sort of like, I better put it back on. And then found out after I'd finished the Battle Pass that it actually finishes in the middle of May and not in the middle of April. Still had fun with it, to be honest. Enjoyed the lightning sorceress class that I was running with at the time. Did a little bit of co-op on it with Coopster.
Nice.
So it was nice to play with him again. Yeah, there was that. And Skyrim. I might as well mention Skyrim, which I've now put up to about 70 hours into again.
Wow.
Because you can't beat the classics.
Gotta get down on Skyrim.
It's just one of those things, and I mean, there's things to the game that are kind of irritating. Like I don't know if you remember the Daedra mission where you find a fucking talking dog, and he wants you to go to some cave, and you're like, yeah, that sounds all good. And he's like, right, I'll lead the way. And then you look on your map, and it's like halfway across the map, and you're like, tosser. And then you'll go there, do loads of stuff. And it's like, right, I want you to take the dog and go to this other place to pick up my axe for me. Oh, where's that? Oh, it's literally right the other side of the fucking map. You're like, oh, God. And then while you're doing it, you're getting dragon attacks and all that kind of stuff going on as well. So I don't like. I will say the weakest point of Skyrim to me is the Daedra quests, because a lot of them, basically, to get the rewards, you've got to be an arsehole in it, like kill innocent people or do whatever. And I generally hate playing games as a villain or a villainous kind of person, because it doesn't vibe with me. I guess I just don't have that side to me in real life. So like even doing it in a game, it's kind of annoying. But then there's Chivos involved, so you're kind of like, well, I have to do it. Because rather than actually having an achievement for completing 15 Daedric quests, however way you see fit, it's you must obtain 15 Daedric artifacts, which means you have to do the quests a certain way to actually get them. And like I say, usually that means being evil, even though you're not necessarily playing a character who's evil at the time.
Skyrim's a weird one. Like, it's one of those games. Like, even though it's so old now, I can go.
Oh, it's
I can
really
easily
old.
just go back and play it. I mean,
it's like a comfortable armchair, isn't it? You just nestle back into it and
yeah. I was playing it on my Steam Deck on the plane. On my flight. Yeah, I was just like, it was just so chill, just going along the map and just doing the quests, and it's just such a good game, man.
And it still looks reasonably good as well.
It does,
like, for what it is. Like, it's nice and crisp. It's not. It was one of those games that kind of hit at a time when we were kind of just past the dodgy graphics, like the horrible polygons and stuff, and we was actually into stuff that's passable and will still look reasonably good years and years from now. I mean, and obviously the modding community. On the PC especially, you can transform that game to look like it came out like last year.
Yeah.
Depending on what you want to do with it, or with all the different bits and bobs. And like I said before, it's just a shame that nothing Bethesda's released since then has even come close to that remotely.
No, I know. No. It is disappointing. And I'm a little bit worried about the next Elder Scrolls, to be honest.
I have no hope for the next Elder Scrolls. I really don't.
I mean,
like
Starfield
after Fallout 4 and Starfield, it's like, oh god.
I mean, Starfield was meant to be like the game of the generation, and it's like such a forgettable game. I felt like I had to force myself to finish it,
I never even went beyond like 30 to 40 hours on it. I just couldn't. I just got so bored of it and found so many mechanics in it so annoying and frustrating. I mean, it's bad enough getting over encumbered in Skyrim, but at least it was way easier to manage in that than it was in Starfield.
Well, as I say, I was lucky playing that on PC, and I could have infinite items.
Yeah, so you probably might not have even finished the game if you'd have been playing the game normally.
No, probably not.
So yeah, I suppose there was a bit of news, wasn't there, saying like all the next Elder Scrolls is in a playable state.
God, yeah.
Or in a slightly playable state. And don't get me wrong, I'm really looking forward to seeing how well it is and if they're actually going to move past the engine that they've been using.
Yeah.
For the past few games, because there's so many sort of games now that look really, really good, like for what they are. I mean, even like we said before, like Skyrim in its own way for a 12-year-old game still looks fantastic in places. Yeah. And to see where it's going to be and what all we've had so far is just that slight little light trailer, isn't it?
Yeah.
But then I think we're going to go straight back into sort of like modern gaming classics. You're going to end up with restrictive systems, things that you could do in the previous game stripped out. All the usual things that seem to happen with games in their supposed evolution, but devolution of the actual mechanics.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to Morrowind is still, to this day, the game with the least amount of boundaries that I've ever played in my life.
Yeah.
You could almost do whatever you wanted to do in that game, and every game since kind of restricted the system a little bit more each time.
Yeah. I never played.
I mean, as much as I love Skyrim, it does have things that were dumbed down from, say, Oblivion, which is my least favourite Elder Scrolls game.
See, Oblivion was the first one I played.
Yeah, so that's the thing for a lot of people. So you never noticed the fact that there were weapon types missing, there was like armour types missing, all this other sort of stuff that was just stripped out. But then you had like the repair system where do you remember that? You had to use armourers' hammers to repair your equipment and stuff.
Yeah.
And that was an absolutely horrendous, annoying mechanic, which, like, I mean, they could have made it better, just improved it where it just worked a lot better and easier. But then in Skyrim, they basically just completely did away with that mechanic altogether. I mean, I didn't really not cry for its loss. That was one of the things that I actually kind of liked. But it depends. I mean, every one of them is slightly different in its own way. They all play slightly different. I mean, it is unfortunate that if you go back to Morrowind now, that as free as it is, it looks like dog shit.
Yeah.
Because it was made in that era of like very, very early sort of 3D polygons and stuff. I mean, I never played Daggerfall, which I think was the one before it, which was the first time they sort of took the Elder Scrolls into like a 3D first person.
Yeah.
Sort of type of game. I mean, I've heard a rumour, I don't know whether you've heard of the rumours as well, about them possibly doing an Oblivion remaster.
Really? Oh. Random?
See, depending on how well that's done, it could be good. I mean, if they make some of the sort of improvements, in my opinion, that they did with Skyrim and took out some of the options and things in Oblivion I hated. Like where you'll get like petty thieves on the corner of the road being like, "Oh, mate, yeah, I haven't eaten for ages. I need to mug you. Don't worry about me. I'm just stood here in complete ebony armour from head to toe," which is like super expensive because everything in the game just used to level up with you all the time.
Yeah.
And it was just silly because you'd eventually end up at a point where certain enemies and like mobs just wouldn't appear in the world anymore because they were too low level.
Right, yeah.
And then you had the fantastic, what was it, the Oblivion Gates, where you're like, yeah, gather your armies, and we'll have this utter glitch fuckfest where 1 minute you're swinging your sword into a Daedra's face at full blat, and then all of a sudden someone's like, I'm on your side. It's like you smash them in the back of the head, even though they weren't there 2 seconds ago.
Yeah. Oh, dear.
Think it up, Dice.
Time is a ticking.
Oh, what was that? Sorry, yeah. Knocking back over to you. Then we might as well get on to.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm going to be a little bit controversial on this next game, so I do apologise to people.
I don't know if you're going to be that controversial. I'm it's kind of in the same similar boat with it, maybe.
So, Dragon's Dogma 2 picked up on launch, picked up on PC because the price was right on CD keys of £37. So, at least it's not as bad as spending 60 or 70 and being disappointed. I spent £37 and have come away disappointed. Now I don't understand why, because Dragon's Dogma, the original game on the 360, I fucking loved that game.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. It really is. And I even rebought it on Steam, the Dark Arisen version. To play. I actually never replayed it. I've actually reinstalled it to play.
You should go back to it now. Yeah,
I'm actually going to go back to it this week and do a comparison for next week's episode. That's my homework for this week. Because I remember the original game taking me quite a long time to complete. I actually completed Dragon's Dogma 2. 14 hours, job done.
Bloody hell.
Later. Now,
that is hardly any time.
Yeah. Now I'm going to put this straight out there because I have been a little bit controversial and people in the Discord have been upset with me, but I don't think it's an issue. I'm on PC and I modded it straight away. Right? So infinite encumbrance like I do with any game because I can't be fucked with fannying around with weight limits.
Yeah, I can see where that would get annoying.
Yeah, and you can actually just level yourself and your pawn to whatever level you want, And as a joke, I put my pawn to level 999 and put it out into the ether. And one of the guys in the Discord picked up my pawn and thought it was funny. But then I put my pawn back down to level 50.
Isn't like the max cap like 51 or 52 or something like that?
No?
Oh, right, there it does keep going. I always assume
Yeah, it keeps
from
going,
most of the screenshots I see people being around that level.
Yeah. So I actually finished the game where my main character was level 52. And after resetting my pawn back, my pawn was level 53. So that's all I did is I just got rid of that weight limit because it was fucking pissing me off. Now, I'm going to preface this with saying the game is pretty fun. The battles are really hard. I died a lot playing this game, especially on one of the boss battles, which I'm not going to spoil. But all I'm going to say is you need to climb this one quite high.
Oh, I know the one you're on about. It's the Colossus.
Yeah.
It's been shown off in trailers, so it's not a spoiler.
Okay. Now, you can cheese this game quite easily anyway, because it's like with the first game. I managed to cheese it by just going into the rift and getting some overpowered pawns that I'd found in the rift, and they basically just destroy everything. And that's basically what happened to me in this as well anyway. But so I'm going to preface it like the gameplay can be quite fun, but it feels very dated. Like the combat to me feels very clunky. And it kind of feels like, and I know some people like this, but it feels to me like an Xbox 360 game. Like they've taken the original game and like made the graphics a little bit better, just with the clunkiness of the actual gameplay itself.
The original one was fairly sort of clunky. It's not a smooth sort of game, but then I do take the time period and stuff it's supposed to be roughly sort of set in. It's a fantasy setting, and you're in like armors and things like that, so you don't expect to be jumping about like a ninja.
Yeah, but also like I need to go back and play the original, because the world felt quite large, whereas this one the world didn't feel super big. Like the map looks big.
It's 4 times the size or 3 times the size.
But it's like a big, but it's done in like a big C, like a C shape, if that makes sense. So most of the maps in the middle is just water, which you can't go to. So they try to make it last longer, where making you walk everywhere, right? But I ended up just getting on an ox cart and using that to travel between the towns. Now, you can set fast travel, but it's a bit finicky to do. You got to get this like crystal thing and
the fairy stones. Yeah, it was similar in the original.
Yeah,
but you didn't really have to go as far in the original.
Yeah. So.
Carry on. Sorry.
So it didn't. So to me, obviously after coming up, and I think some of the criticisms I have of the game is because I'd literally just come off playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is a huge open world, amazingly gorgeous graphics, and the gameplay, it's very smooth as well, right? To this, which feels like a 15-year-old game with the clunkiness and the performance. And this has been one of the big things that's been talked about.
Across all platforms, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously I've only been playing it on PC, and I've got quite a decent PC. And I started the game, right, and I was like, I don't know what people are on about. I'm in the open world, I'm getting like 80 or 90 FPS, it's smooth as butter. And then I got to the city, and I was like, oh, this is what people are talking about. I was running at like 40 FPS, and I was like, you're dropping from like 90s to... Hang on a minute.
You are popping a little bit on your mic as well. I don't know if that's just me.
Hello? I had to mute.
Hello?
My boy just ran in.
That's all right.
Like, yeah, so and it's quite jarring when you're going from quite a high FPS to like 440 because it just looks like slow motion a little bit, and it's just like, what the fuck is going on, you know? And it's just very frustrating because, in my opinion, like the graphics don't feel that demanding. So why is the performance taking such a hit? Now,
I've got a feeling it's because they're using the RE engine, and it's
maybe,
not really meant for a kind of game that they've done. I mean, we've had these issues before with where people have been forced to say use Frostbite.
Yeah.
For a game that's not necessarily used it before. And for things like Resident Evil and everything, it's fantastic. The performance in those games is really good. And I think when you've taken that to an open world, mixed in countless NPCs that are milling about and doing their own things, along with all the enemies that are scattered pretty much everywhere, it takes its toll. Because I think it's like, is it GPU heavy or CPU heavy?
It's
I know one
CPU
of the
heavy,
things.
yeah.
CPU, isn't it?
Yeah, CPU heavy. But like, I just don't like on PC. Like, one of the things that hampers performance in games is if they add in the de novo anti piracy software, because it like runs in a virtual machine in the game, and it's quite CPU intensive, and obviously that's got the de novo. So a lot of people are complaining that's one of the reasons as well. But apart from that, I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting, because I just felt like the story was just a bit shit. Like, it started off quite full on, and then it just disappears for ages, and then I felt like the end of the game, like the end, it was just felt quite abrupt. Like, I felt like I was about halfway through the game, and then it was like, oh, I'm on the final boss battle. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. And I know a lot of people say, oh, like a lot of the game is the exploration and the side quests, but the side quests that I come across was I just thought they were just very generic. Oh, help me find this thing. Oh, little Timmy stuck in a cave. Go and save him, and then once you saved him, it's like, oh yeah, you got to walk him back to town, which is like a 20-minute fucking walk away. Oh, so I can't fucking be arsed with this shit. You know, like you're and the open world is quite heavy with enemies, so you're like having to protect little Timmy as you're fucking trying to get him back to town, and I'm just like, oh my god, really? I can't be fucked with this. So, Dragon's Dogma, the original, was one of my favourite games on the 360. I was really looking forward to this. It was one of the main games I was really looking forward to this year. And I've just come away with quite a sour taste in my mouth. Like, I feel like they haven't really put the effort in of what they should, just with all those things. And it's just very disappointing.
I mean, to be honest, the story in the original game was very sparse and bizarre and weird as well anyway.
Yeah.
In its own sort of like way. It was almost like the story was your journey rather than the actual story of the game itself. Per se. I mean, it had a nice twist in it. I don't know if they've revisited a similar twist in this one or not. I don't really want to know.
Yeah, they might have done.
But yeah, for me,
there's 3 endings.
All right, I can't remember how many there were in the original one. I know there's like the ending, the true ending, and possibly another one in between there as well.
Yeah.
I mean, this was the game. I mean, talking about Dragon's Dogma was the first time I actually appeared on the podcast.
Oh yeah, fucking hell, I remember that. Yeah.
All those years ago. So this was like right up there with like my most anticipated games of this year.
Yeah. So what's your disappointment then, Darren?
Oh, it's a variety of things, really. I mean, I haven't replayed the first one in ages, but I decided to go as a ranger or the ranged class. You have no dodge or roll or anything to avoid getting attacked. And people will be like, oh, yeah, they tell you you're supposed to stay ranged and stuff. But when you're fighting some of the big monsters and they decide to just target you, you can virtually do nothing about getting battered.
Yeah.
Because all you can do is run around like an idiot. And then when you are running around, you've got like that stamina bar.
Yeah.
That drains right down, and then you're knackered, and then you take a hit, etc. I think the movement's kind of quite clunky in a way when you're trying to climb obstacles and move around on like quite tight, high areas. Because one wrong turn and your character will like stumble off and plummet like shitloads down to like take a really heavy amount of damage.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, was that my fault, was it? Thank you for that. I was just literally trying to turn my character the other way. I didn't want him to sort of stumble round. The open world, I think, looks really nice. It's quite dense, like in the foliage and all of that sort of stuff in there as well, and the different ruined buildings you'll come across when you're exploring around. But I just don't like one of the ways where it's like there's a group of goblins, and then literally 50 meters down that there's another group of goblins, and then like 50 meters, there's a group of harpies, there's another. And when you've climbed up to like some high point and you've like run across your 700th fucking group of goblins in like the last sort of hour of gameplay or whatever, it's just like the combat starts to get like, here we go again. I just kind of want to explore and look for things a little bit with enemies dotted about, but not like as close together as they are. And you've literally got NPCs that are just like, as you know, as you're walking through the game, they're like traveling from town to town.
Yes.
Every single NPC should just be leaving with an entire legion of soldiers with them, because there's no way in hell they'd survive the journey with that many enemies dotted about.
Yeah.
I've had it where I've fought a load of enemies, wiped them out, the music stopped playing, the combat music, and then enemies have just spawned in front of me in the road, like literally just appeared out of thin air. And you're like, what? And then you get like a fire grenade thrown at you out of a bush where an enemy was still in it, apparently, even though the combat music stopped and combat itself has ceased to be at that time.
Yeah.
I find that frustrating that you can't hide your helmet. So you spend ages in the character creator, you make your character your hip, and it's like, choose a hairstyle. Not that this is actually going to matter, because when you've got a hat on, everyone just gets their hair flattened completely back, or it's just completely hidden. And medieval get up for heads, and that wasn't the best, was it, really, to be honest?
Yeah.
It's like, the best you can kind of get is like maybe a feather cap or a chain helmet or something.
Yeah.
And then you've got this dragon's plague mechanic in the game.
Yes, I've heard about this.
That's just like, I get why it's there. It's apparently a feature. It's not a bug. All of that kind of stuff. And it's basically, if someone hires your pawn, or you've hired other people's pawns, and you've fought either a drake or a dragon, they can contract something called Dragon's Plague, which means they'll stop following your orders in the game, backtalk you, and over time, their illness can spread to other pawns in your group. Now, if you sleep at an inn after a certain amount of time has passed with one of these characters being under the effect of Dragon's Plague, which you can't see in statistics, the only way you can tell is, like I say, behavioural patterns and looking them in the eyes, if you can actually see their eyes, because there's no hide helmet option. When you sleep, they transform into a shadow dragon and annihilate every single NPC in the town you were sleeping in. This includes quest NPCs and story NPCs.
Okay, no. It's really weird, because I remember you mentioned this to me in the WhatsApp.
Yeah, it was just a warning to people who wasn't aware of it, because I wasn't aware of it.
Yeah, well, I was playing. Well, funnily enough, you mentioned it, and then I launched the game to play it, like say the next day or whatever. And then one of my pawns was actually telling me about the Dragon's Plague.
Yeah, they talk about it early on. Like they mention, I've heard of a disease that can happen amongst us, blah, blah, blah. And you're kind of like, all right. But yet this can completely ruin people's playthroughs. Obviously, if you don't notice, and they're like, there's no cure for it either. Like, they could quite easily add in a thing where it's like you can craft like a certain potion or whatever, or have an amulet that you can wear that will dispel that effect on the people that are around you and whatnot. And there is apparently a wake stone or something that you can get to like fully resurrect towns, which is by doing the Sphinx quest.
Okay.
But again, I've heard it doesn't necessarily resurrect all the NPCs. If it's been past a certain amount of time since they've been dead, they can't actually be resurrected, and all this other sort of bits and bobs. And I just thought, why is this in the game? Or if you're actually going to have this in the game, give us a toggle to turn it off, because some people don't want to have that. You'll have some people that literally only have like 1 or 2 hours a night to play a game. And you're telling me they could play this for like 30, 40 hours, like over a period of like a month or so, and then boot it up one day and it's like, oh, I've just wiped all that shit out. I can't do that quest anymore because everyone's dead. What the hell is the story quest now? Because obviously the story-related NPC people are dead. It's just a weird, bizarre thing, and it puts me off going back to it, to be perfectly honest.
That's fair
On the
enough.
plus side, I think the exploration is fantastic. The quests themselves, although kind of boring, can end up becoming like 1.5 to 2 hour long adventures.
Yeah.
Whereas like I was given a mission to go and basically, you've possibly maybe even done it, where you go off and it's like, oh, you need to find these weapons in these caves. And I basically travelled to this cave section, and the cave section was like really in depth and went on for a long time. And I was like mining all this ore and other stuff while I was in there and opening chests and having loot. And by the time I'd got back to the town after doing that, I think about 1.5 to 2 hours had passed in the game. And it actually felt like a real good, fun adventure.
That's good.
It's just like I say, a niggle of the other things. Like it just feels like you're in combat almost like 90% of the fucking time.
Yeah.
Your pawns are still generally quite thick and will fall off of bridges that are perfectly fine for everyone to normally cross. And then you look and one of them's like dead in the water or something, and you're like, oh, fantastic. There's no way to get down to get to them. Thanks for that. Where's my last save point? Oh, it's 5 minutes ago. I guess I'll go back to that because I can't be bothered to deal with that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, from me, I mean, I think it's an all right game, but I think people haven't bought it yet. I think they should wait for a sale before they think about it. That's just my
or
personal
wait for
opinion.
more patches and updates. I mean, there has been patches and things that have come out recently for it. I think the latest one came out today, maybe on the Xbox.
Right.
Actually got it where you can now disable motion blur and turn off ray tracing, although I've got no idea why you'd need ray tracing in this kind of game.
Yeah, because you're outside pretty much most of the time anyway. So
that's it. You're not really going through like neon rain-covered cities and stuff where all reflections and all that lot are like super important and actually like add to the atmosphere of the game.
Yeah.
It's still got that nice mechanic though of like when you're travelling around at night, you get all different enemies kind of spawning in that you don't see during the day. As like the original, the conversations between your pawns and NPCs can become super repetitive really quickly.
Oh, hey, there's a ladder over there.
Yeah, and I'm like, where? Literally where? Like I've got no. They're probably looking at something like over the other side of the town or something, because I'm literally running around the area where we are, and it's like I can't see a single ladder. Like, what are you on about?
Yeah.
And yeah, I had a quest where I had to escort an ox cart from one town to another. And they obviously leave at certain times of day. And we'd just gone out of the gate to the city. And all the NPCs and my pawns were like, I'm really tired. Can we take a break? It's like, what? What are you talking about? And then obviously that quest, I think I'm still halfway through it. Because I've been on it for about 45 minutes to an hour, and we're only halfway to our destination.
Oh wow! They do
You
move
know
pretty
why?
fucking slow, don't they?
Because
Fights.
every 100 yards down the road, there's another group of enemies.
Yeah.
And then when it's not another group of enemies, it's like a cyclops or a troll.
Oh yeah, they're hard, mate. Those cyclopses, apparently
And
they
then you
are.
kill that, and you literally just turn the corner, and there's another group of enemies. It's just like, Jesus wept.
Yeah. I had one experience where like I was fast travelling on the ox cart, and then you press the Y button to go to sleep, and then there's always a fight on those fast
Yeah.
travels, and there was a troll and a load of enemies, and they fucking destroyed the cart during the fight. So then
It
obviously
wouldn't
I could,
surprise me, yeah.
yeah. So then obviously I had to, instead of fast traveling, I had to kill all the enemies and then leg it to the next destination, which was a little bit annoying.
So I think it's a game that like could have done with another 6 months in the oven before release.
Yeah, I think so too.
Just to wind a few bits out. It's just suspicious that it came out before the old physical year classic.
Yeah,
Almost like it was pushed out to have a game out before that
yeah,
ticked over.
yeah. I mean, the reviews, the user reviews have not been kind. It's on mostly negative on Steam at the minute, and a lot of it is to do with the performance, but
Yeah.
a lot of it is also to do with the microtransactions.
See, I don't get that. Like, I know I'm not like the biggest proponent or champion of microtransactions. I dislike them as much as anyone else, but a majority of the microtransactions are things you can just get in the game. They're like
Yes,
the
I've
cheap
noticed that.
paid for options to do. I think what one of the main issues people had is basically there was only a certain amount of an item in the game that actually allows you to change your character's appearance.
Right, yeah.
And otherwise, you could just buy it with microtransactions, like
Yeah.
these tomes of whatever it is, or the book of something that you have to give to the beautician to be able to change your appearance, which I want to do because I started the game like a bobblehead.
Right.
For some reason, like my head is like way bigger than everyone else's, even though I just used the default head size and everything that was given to me on the character creator demo thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Where you could create yourself and your pawn before you go in. So it's like, I kind of really want to sort that out because I look out of proportion compared to the other characters that I'm with and all the NPCs in the game.
Because one of the other complaints from people on PC was you couldn't start a new game, you couldn't just start it again.
No, you can't. I think they're adding that option, or they have added the option where you can just start the game again from the beginning. But again, it doesn't give you more than one save.
It just seems a bit odd that you launch a game and you don't have like the simple fucking options of just starting again. You know what I mean? So people on PC were going into their menu, like into their system files, and deleting their game save, but it would fuck it up when it connected to the server, and it would just crash their game, so they couldn't play the game.
Yeah,
It's just like, for fuck's sake, you know what I mean?
Because you technically have two saves. You've got the manual save that you can pretty much do anywhere, which is always a bonus.
Yeah.
But then you've got the in save,
that's
which
right,
is the other one. And to be honest, I haven't stayed at many inns currently because they're bloody expensive to stay at.
Yeah. So overall, disappointed. It's a shame, but it is what it is. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is still my game of the year. Nothing's come close. End of.
Yeah, I'm hoping to go back to it at some point when it's had a few more patches and stuff to sort and iron out a few of the things that I might have taken issue with.
Yeah.
Or even maybe gone back and persevered with it a little bit more.
Yeah.
I mean, the original game I didn't click with straight away either. I think it took me about 4 or 5 hours, but I've put over twice that length of time into this one. And kind of like I'm in the similar boat to you, but not necessarily in the same way. Just other things have kind of like annoyed me a fair bit.
Well, the longer you leave it as well, the better pawns will be available in the Rift. So then, like, those little random encounters.
Well, yeah, but
would
even then,
come a
I'm
lot
kind of
quicker.
worried about hiring certain pawns because they might be bloody infected or something, and it's like, oh,
We just don't know, do you? That's the
no.
thing.
Just like some sort
Lols.
of weird mechanic where it's like, I ain't got time to deal with that shite as well, and I don't want to
Yeah,
go around like murdering my pawns just because they
yeah,
might have the plague. Because the only way of actually curing them is either sending them back to the Rift if they're the ones you've hired,
yeah.
or killing your main pawn and then bringing them back at a stone.
All right. Mental.
One of the things I wasn't too sure on, you'll have to let me know when you get to when you obviously play this new one. But I don't remember if it was true in the previous game where the only actual pawn that levels with you is your own. I could have sworn the other pawns in the original game leveled up while
I
they were fighting
don't
with you.
recall them leveling the ones I hired.
No, in two they don't. The ones
Yeah,
you hire, they never level up. So
yeah,
it almost forces you to keep swapping them out per
yeah,
se, because you'll eventually be like, well, I'm level 14 and they're like level 8.
yeah,
So it's like I kind of need to chip you out for ones more around my level. But then even hiring some of the other pawns costs you Rift credits or RC or
yeah. The
something.
RC, yeah,
Yeah, and no one's taken my pawn out, so I'm not getting RC from obviously that.
yeah,
And the only other way I've figured of earning it is by repairing the little stone things that you'll find randomly
yeah,
around in the world, and you don't hardly get any RC from them.
yeah.
It's like, oh.
That's what it
So
is,
yeah, I
mate.
hate to be down on it because it was something that I was like super looking forward to.
Yeah. Okay. Shall we move on?
Mhm.
Nice.
All right. Well, I've not really played much else, to be honest. I'm just going to talk about my racing games I've been playing, as I've been really into my racing mode the last 4 or 5 days. Back onto iRacing, enjoying that. Because I haven't played it for ages, so that's been fun. Been absolutely hammering Gran Turismo 7 on the PS5.
I
Uh,
played that the other week down my mates with the steering wheel and pedals and stuff, and I find that game so much fun, so much
it is
fun.
so good. Because I keep on updating it. They've done a really good job with it because they've added weekly challenges to Gran Turismo 7 now.
Right.
So basically, you get a series like a load of different races, but they're all different cars. So it forces you to kind of come out of your comfort zone and buy cars that you wouldn't have really thought about driving, you know, and doing different types of races. So this week there was like a snow race, there was a off-road dirt race. They were in like SUV type cars, and I just found it a lot of fun, you know, just doing that, and it gave me a reason just to go back and spend some time on it. I actually, what day was it? I think it might have been Thursday night because obviously it's been a bank holiday. I was watching a film with the missus, and then she went to bed, and I thought, oh, I'll just have a race or two on Gran Turismo, and I ended up doing all the weeklies in one go and going to bed at 2 in the morning. As I was just like, oh, I'll just do another one. I'll just do it because it's just very chilled out. You know what I mean? Just doing it, and I just enjoy playing it. And you know, the game's a few years old now, but like every time I play it, I'm just blown away by the graphics on it. There's still no other racing game that comes close to
Right.
the graphics on Gran Turismo 7, in my opinion. And when I play Gran Turismo 7, I mean, I think the whole way it's done, it's just very. I just think it's very well done. It's like like the pure love for cars. Like it's all like the classical music playing and the way it's all set up with the showrooms and just the main menu and all the way it's done. I can spend hours just on that photo mode. Just with all the scenes and placing the cars and stuff.
Or
It's just
checking the
very,
second-hand market.
yeah, that as well. It just feels very well done. Just it feels like there's a meaning to it, if that makes sense. Yeah. And I've just been really enjoying it. And then I've also been playing a lot of Forza Motorsport, the new one, and it's just such a contrast in games. And and don't get me wrong, I enjoy Forza. I think it's fun, but it's still got its issues, right? So on PC, it still runs like shit, and there's no reason for it to run like shit on PC. Runs really well on the Series X and S though. But it's just like it's just such a contrast to Gran Turismo. Like it's like boring main menus. It's like it's just a list of races and career. It's not like the way it's laid out in Gran Turismo with the menu book and all that. It's just, I don't know, it just feels more smooth
like
and just
app, haven't you, with all the icons, and you go into different bits and then choose your location. Was it Europe, Americas, and
the Asia?
Asia, yeah.
Whereas on Gran Turismo, it's just a list of stuff. I mean, it's still obviously a racing game, right? But it's just that the way it's just set up is just not as good. And then it's just when you're playing the game, it's just like, how do I put this? Gran Turismo, this is my example. I play Gran Turismo in in the car or bumper cam, right? And it feels very simmy, like it's very close to playing like a sim racer on PC, just with the handling and the way it feels, right?
I mean, if you're using a steering wheel and pedals, if you're not in one of those two views, then you're kind of doing it wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as good having like an outside view if you're definitely doing it right.
But with the wheel, because I've played it a lot with the wheel and pedals, and it feels very good, right? But obviously, recently I've been playing it a lot with my controller. And with the controller, it feels great because with the haptic feedback on the PS5 controller, it just feels like the different pressures on the brakes and all that. It just feels really good.
But you don't still. The one thing I do love about playing and racing in certain cars, in obviously using the steering wheel and pedals with obviously the force feedback, because I think my friend's got the exact same steering wheel and pedals that you've got.
Yeah.
Is you can tell when you're in a car that wants to kill you.
Yes. 100%.
If you're pushing it too hard, you can just know when that car's starting to go out of your control.
Yeah.
And you're having to fight to keep it on the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, and I agree. And it's the next best thing if you don't have a PC to a racing sim, because it is very realistic in a lot of aspects. Whereas Forza, it's more arcadey. Like I've tried it with the wheel, it feels like arse with the wheel. Every Forza I've played feels like arse with the wheel, unfortunately. But as just going back to my examples, with Forza, I can tell in myself that it feels more arcadey because I play Forza in third person behind the car view, because it doesn't feel right to me doing it on the in-car view. It just, because it doesn't feel realistic enough.
Thinking back to it, I think I used to play them the same way. I've generally always played every Gran Turismo, even the ones on the controller, mostly in like a bumper or inside view. Whereas, like you say, Forza, I play them almost like they're a Horizon game.
Yes,
like behind the car.
Yeah. And it's not taking anything away from Forza, because I've had a lot of fun with it online with people, on my friends list and stuff like that. But I think Gran Turismo is definitely a better looking game. I prefer the handling of the cars because it feels more realistic, and it has a better track selection. Forza is still being updated with more tracks and stuff like that. And the multiplayer is quite fun. You know, it's different because it doesn't have, um, the user made lobbies or anything like that. It's like it's different races and it changes the track every race. Whereas on Gran Turismo, there's two modes. You've got the sport mode, which is like there's 3 different classes and they keep that track for a week and then they change it after that week, or you've got the lobby mode. So on a multiplayer side of things, I prefer the way that Forza does it because you get more of a variety. Yeah. So that's why I play both, because I'm getting the best of both, right? But it's just, as someone that loves racing games, it's just a little bit disappointing to me that a racing game on console that's come out a couple of years after, like Forza's come out a couple of years after Gran Turismo, and I still feel a little bit missold on it, even though I've not bought it, because all those trailers that came out and stuff,
they
just looked
incredible.
amazing. Yes,
yeah,
and it's like it doesn't look like that. And do you remember all the uproar about what was it? Was it great? What game was it? It was one of the Ubisoft games.
the Division.
Yeah, and it was like, oh, the downgrade. Oh my god, there was a massive uproar, and like there was a massive
Puddlegate Spider-Man.
Yes, yeah. And there was a massive downgrade on Forza compared to what we were seeing shown, and there was no outcry or anything like that. But it's just perplexes me a little bit that, as I say, Forza's come out a couple of years after Gran Turismo, and Gran Turismo blows it out of the water in the graphics as well. And, I wish it looked like what they had shown us in those trailers. I really do. It's just a little bit frustrating. But, yeah, that's all I wanted to say, really. I mean, I still enjoy them both, for their own aspects. But, if someone was to say to me which game is better, I would say Gran Turismo every single day of the week.
Nice.
So that's my little comparison, and hopefully that's fair and as honest as possible. I've only played 2 other games, and I'll talk about them after you guys have talked a little bit more.
Nice.
Go for it.
Well, I haven't played. I've touched on a lot of games for a very short amount of time, so I might not talk about those now.
That's fine.
And I actually have I actually have Gran Turismo installing as we speak, believe it or not. So
how bad is that? Because I remember, I think it was on the PS4 or PS3. One of the Gran Turismos, I remember sticking it in, and it was one of those mandatory installs. So I think it must have been PS3. And the install on it was ridiculously long, and it was installing so much stuff. I just remember thinking, what are you doing? So I haven't actually checked to see what the size of GT7 is and stuff, because obviously I was kind of put off back in the day.
I think it's about 120 gig.
From playing it, which is reasonable, I suppose, and it has got that annoyingly always online connection per se, because I think if you go offline you can only do time trials and things. I believe, which is kind of annoying. But it is a game I'd really, really love to get. But I think the downside is because I've now played that with a steering wheel. I think playing it with a controller would be a downgrade.
Well, to be fair, mate, I mean, I've played.
You get more control. You do. Yeah. My friend always says I'd always race way better when I'm like using the controller and stuff. But I always have just so much more fun like racing it with the real wheel. Yeah. It feels almost like I'm sat in an arcade or something back in the day playing this really well done simulation sort of thing that I've paid like £5 to have a go of or something.
Yeah. No, so I've been playing it a lot with my controller, and I still think it feels great.
Those games always did work very well with a controller, I think.
Yeah.
Better than
I won't say they
most other games, to be fair. So I'm not too worried because they really do put the attention to detail in, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, even on the very first few games, you didn't even have analog sticks. It was just D-pad control.
No.
Yeah.
It was, yeah, back in the day, crikey. But no, it's like I say, I picked it up cheap. I also picked up God of War Ragnarok because that's on offer for about 35 quid at the minute in
Reasonable,
a lot of high street stores. So I thought, well, I'll pick that up. I've installed it, and I've kind of gone through about the first hour and the recap. So
Nice.
can't really speak too much of it at the minute. It's again, it's fantastically cinematic. It's a good-looking game. I downloaded and sort of very briefly played another handful of games. Like, for example, I've got Hades on PS5 digitally, so I downloaded that. Had a few runs on that. I've got Wreckfest digital on PS5, so I downloaded that. I spent sort of an afternoon. I did a handful of races, and I very briefly had a look at the demo that you guys were talking about for Stellar Blade as well.
Oh, we haven't even talked about that, have we yet?
Yeah.
No.
We could talk about it now then, because I haven't really got much else to talk about.
Yeah, that'll be me pretty much done, actually. We'll talk about Stellar Blade. Let's do it. Go for it. I'll let you guys talk about it first.
It does have a very, very similar feel to something like Nier Automata, doesn't it, really?
Yes.
It feels very reminiscent, but my word, has this game got some visuals behind it.
Indeed.
I think I might have to write to Sony and complain because there is far too much boobage in it. I am offended.
Well, it's the same pair, I guess. Right.
But no, I mean, the combat is good. It looks great. The exploration feels solid. The sound and the music is just outstanding.
Amazing. Yeah.
There we go. You're talking about, obviously, the Nier Automata. You've got the fact that it's obviously set in a kind of post-apocalyptic world thing going on.
Yeah.
But then, even then, you've got the actual composer from Nier did a bunch of music for the game.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Which is why it has a very similar sort of feel to it, that kind of ethereal sort of melody that's echoing throughout the background track and stuff, kind of giving you that sort of melancholy kind of sense of like loss or pain or something that's gone on, like not particularly happy, but still really well sort of done and fits the mood really well.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's one of those games I was sort of on the fence about. And I've played the demo, and I must admit, I'm not really good. I'm not really very good with the combat because I'm sort of not very good with the parrying and the sort of the evasion. I find that's kind of not quite become second nature yet. But I am sort of thinking, if this game came out and got a price cut, I would be tempted to pick it up.
I think it's one of those games that I found the combat reasonable and decent, but there was still a few things with it where I was like, is my timing off here? Or what kind of thing does that do? What's the glowing doing on this section? Because obviously the enemies can glow different colours, which is the usual sort of like.
Yeah,
this is only dodgeable. Yeah, this is counterable. This is something else. And then I think in the boss rush mode, which you unlock after you finish the demo, you get enemies glowing purple. Or like the boss glows purple at a couple of moments, and you're kind of like, well, what does that mean? And I think I'm trying to play the game like I play a lot of other action, fast-paced games like it, and I think I've just got to get used to how that game's combat is, rather than trying to play it like I play other versions of those games.
Yeah.
It's never going to be as fast and quick and fluid as Nier,
because that's platinum. No. I mean, Hell, Bayonetta, Nier, Automata, obviously, they're like almost masters of that style, and they've obviously gone for their own kind of like spin on it. The perfect blocking, I'm perfectly fine with. It's mainly the grabs. I think it's like I'm dodging. Like as soon as an enemy glows a colour, I'm pushing the button because, like, usually in so many games, that's usually the time. Right, they're glowing. You got to counter it quick, and then you dodge. And there's like a delay between when they actually do the move and when you should have actually dodged.
Yeah.
And it's going to be learning that timing. I know there has been people that have had issues with the game and having input latency, which I didn't particularly notice, but apparently that's something to do with if you don't have like it's not connected to something that has game mode.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, obviously running through the television I've got, like like it automatically generally switches to game mode, which obviously makes things a lot faster response-wise, etc.
But no, it's interesting, and it's certainly kind of made me interested to watch out for when it releases. That's for sure.
3 weeks time.
I found it quite jarring a little bit that there's no. It feels quite old school in the way there's no waypoints telling you where to go. So you've got to actually explore the environment to figure out where you've got to go. You know?
Well, I didn't mind that so much because there's a few bits off the beaten path, isn't there? That you can go to find extra breaks and bits. And there's a ton of stuff you're locked at in the demo.
Yeah.
Like there's 2 complete skill trees that are completely blanked out. I think in the game plus the boss mode, you've got access to 4 outfits.
Yeah, and they're pretty awesome.
Plus, obviously, the skin suit, which is basically disabling the outfit, and but you've got no shield. But in the full game, there's in the first in the final game, you're supposed to have about 30 outfits.
Wow.
Right.
You also don't get the option to upgrade your outfits or obviously craft new ones or like put in extra mods to yourself where you can equip extra abilities and skills and stuff. It kind of was just that little bit of a taste.
I've seen there's been quite a lot of controversy on the likes of IGN about the main character.
Well, it was IGN France. Like, it wasn't the classic traditional IGN US. It was like a French one, like the French IGN that did the classic thing of, the character looks like a sex doll and the creator of the game has never seen a real woman before. And then it's like, well, this is a picture of his wife who also worked on the game. And this is a picture of the real model that they scanned for the actual main character.
Yeah.
But it might have even just been done to bring a lot of interest to the site. I mean, it's the old rage bait, clicking for rage bait kind of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. But I see not really much difference between that and Nier Automata, really, in that aspect.
No, not particularly. It's just the fact that it's been years since we saw any games like this.
Yeah.
Outside of like Bayonetta 3 was probably the last one.
Yeah.
Quite possibly.
Do those different outfits give different abilities or anything, Darren?
I'm not too sure whether they're aesthetic or whether they're actually gonna have different attributes and stuff connected to them or not. I mean, I'd prefer it if they were just aesthetic. That way, you could play through the game in whichever outfit you liked.
Yeah.
Or if you wanted to give yourself a challenge, don't have any equipped at all.
Yeah. I mean,
I think the difficulty.
I mean, I really enjoyed the demo. I think, I really want to pick up the game, but it's that old thing for me of PlayStation game, 70 quid. I don't really want to be paying that amount for a game. Me being tight. No. So I'm probably going to wait until it's on sale or something. So.
I'll definitely be picking it up day one. It's exactly the type of game that I used to enjoy playing back in the day.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Before everyone became like this puritanical thing of like, oh, nobody wants games like this anymore. And it's like, no, we do. You're just trying to put off companies from making games like this.
Yeah.
Because you don't like them. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of years when it comes to like gaming and even like the AAA space, because there seems to be a growing amount of disconnect between the games that companies are putting out and the games that people actually want to play and buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the games that people are putting out are doing things like ticking boxes for certain political reasons and trying to please everyone when you've never had to do that before. And those games are either successful or they flop. I mean, you said earlier on like about one of the games like Forspoken.
Yeah.
Which I thought looked really good when it was first advertised and shown off and everything. The thing that put me off the game was the demo.
Yeah, same.
I remember when I played the demo, I was like, oh, this is awful. This looks nothing like what I expected, and it's not fun to play.
Yeah.
So that was the main thing that put me off that game. But yeah, it's, again, will be interesting to see how well this does when it comes out. If it's a hit, you might start seeing more companies making games like they used to.
Yes, I just hope so.
Rather than adhering to sort of like rule sets of you must include this, you must include that, you can't have characters look like this or that, or this character has to show this vulnerability and whatnot. And it's like, mate, it's escapism. Like, do you even know what escapism is supposed to be?
Yeah, I know, mate. Yeah.
If we want the real world, we just walk out of our front door.
Yeah.
Or here's a really wild thought: allow people to make whatever they want, and we'll just decide. That way, everyone's happy. Everyone just gets to play the types of things they want, or watch the types of things they want, and whatnot. There we go.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, one of the interesting things I did actually notice, because I think it maybe happened when you was away, Webby.
Yeah.
Was this demo accidentally leaked, didn't it? Like about 2 or 3 weeks prior to the official release.
Yeah.
Like it went, the demo went up. I think it was only up for about an hour, half an hour to an hour or something. But a few people actually managed to grab hold of it and play it. But the interesting thing to note was, even if you downloaded the game, Sony pulled the license from it. So people who had it on their consoles couldn't access it because it told them they didn't own the license for it. And I remember watching a thing about this on Digital Foundry, and one of the blokes is like, that's kind of interesting that a company can do that with a digital license to a game, isn't it?
Yeah. It's fucking shit.
So who's to say they can't do that with actual full games that you've actually paid money for at some point down the line?
Mate. Yeah, you know it's not happening, yeah. Oh dear. So yeah, I mean, I enjoyed the Stellar Play demo. I think the combat's really fun. Graphics are stunning.
Again, the game runs, I believe, roughly sort of like 1440, 60 on performance.
Right.
It's amazing that developers can apparently do this with games. I'm quite shocked when some of them can't. Because I did see, again, the excuse of, like Dragon's Dogma, oh, well, it's this, it's that. They can't really do 60 FPS with so-and-so. And you just like, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It was literally out pretty much from the Series X and PS5
and the graphics
came out originally. Graphics on that look better. The world might be roughly the same sort of size. There's a hell of a lot of foliage and other things in that game as well. And it runs smooth as butter and looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether you like the game or not. But to me, that's still a game that I stick on every now and again to run a daily of or whatever, and I'm still impressed by it. And it could be a game that just came out last week because it still looks fantastic in its presentation and everything.
Yeah.
So there's loads of games out there that can go over. I mean, Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
That's another one that hits around the 60s at like 1440 or whatever it is above, and that's got all like reflections and NPCs everywhere and all sorts of shit going on in this big neon city with no loading screens in between areas.
Oh, that's mad, isn't
Strange. Yeah. The other thing as well, going back to the Stellar Blade, it's actually great to see a lot more Korean developers coming out recently.
Yeah.
And putting out sort of interesting stuff, because it's generally it is the Korean developers that are the unflappable, unshakables. They will put out the games that are literal escapism with good-looking characters and stuff in it, with no concessions. They're not like, oh, we're going to make this so-and-so to appease this market. It's like, no, we're just going to make what we want to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for this, I believe, is Shift Up's first console game, or console stroke full game. They usually made mobile games.
Right. Okay.
There's obviously one that came out a couple of years ago, which I played on phone for a little while. It was a gacha game, which is annoying in itself. And the gameplay on it was kind of fun, but I'm like, this game's going to go dead at some point because it's a mobile game, kind of thing. And I think it's the same with Round 8. The developers are Lies of P.
Right. Okay.
I think Lies of P was pretty much one of their first games as well. And look how that turned out.
Yeah.
Still waiting on hopefully an announcement of DLC for that at some point this year.
That'd be cool.
If you've completed the game, you'll have a rough idea of what that DLC might entail.
Yeah. Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, obviously, again, like Black Desert is Korean developed. And like I said before, going back to the Kingdom Under Fire games, which I really enjoyed back in the day, they were Korean as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you even had like the ones on Steam as well.
There's tons of Korean MMOs on the PC. Isn't that new one that they were all going off about? Like, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. I see like people going on about a new Korean MMO thing that's got like had a beta.
I don't know.
It was like you either picked like a male or a female character, and you went around beating up looked like beastkin.
Oh right.
Kind of people. If you put it in on a search engine like recent Korean MMO things, it'll probably come up in amongst those.
Yeah, I was thinking of Lost Ark as the most recent one that I can remember.
Yeah, that was Korean as well. And again, the reason why they make their characters generally good looking in their games is because they want to make money.
Yeah.
And they like selling microtransactions and stuff. And you're not going to be like
outfits and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to want to like be like, oh, I can't wait to dress up my dustbin and bin in a British like pie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. Is there any other games you guys want to talk about, or was I'm just going to move to the news?
If there is, I'll think of them for next week because we've covered quite a bit, I think, tonight.
Yeah.
My fault.
It's all right.
No, it's fine. We've all played it. It's been 3-4 weeks since.
Yeah, it's been 3 weeks, mate.
Yeah. True.
Okay. Well, there's not been loads of news that I've got down anyway. I think last podcast, I can't remember if I mentioned the PS5 Pro rumours. I think I might.
I think they are rumours still, aren't they? Like,
yeah, so apparently,
leak specs, leak this, leak that. And it's like, all right, we'll see when it all arrives or gets announced, no doubt, this year.
Yeah, apparently it's coming out around Christmas.
So we'll know about it by sort of like E3 sort of time, I reckon.
So apparently, like, there's loads of rumours. Apparently, it's going to be 45% faster than the current PS5. But developers have come out and said they don't see the point in the PS5 Pro because they haven't even maxed out what they can do with the PS5.
Well, they quite clearly have. If you can't have a game like Dragon's Dogma 2 running at over 60 FPS,
True.
you've got quite a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
And to be honest, when I heard about that, where it's like, oh, it's going to be able to load games faster, I was like, what the hell do you mean? It's fast enough. It's good enough when it comes to that. Trust me, load times are something I do not have an issue with on these new consoles.
Yeah.
To be frank.
No.
So there's that, and another piece of news. And remember that Blizzard is now owned by Microsoft. There's a new user agreement for Battle.net users on PC. And apparently, you no longer own your games. So they've now changed it to say your use of the platform is licensed, not sold to you, and you hereby acknowledge that no title or ownership with respect to the platform or games is being transferred or assigned. And this agreement should not be construed as a sale of any rights.
I know exactly why they're doing all this shit.
It's
the main reason is because if you say the wrong thing to someone online, they can just ban you.
Yeah,
and then you can't. And then you're like, well, you signed the thing to say you don't own the game, so you only have access to it as long as you play ball with us.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the thing. So, say if you spent a couple of £1,000 on games, and you are reported or whatever, and you get banned, you've lost access to all your games. And you're fucked. That's it. Now, I think that's a bit shitty.
Oh, it's not a bit shitty, it's fully shitty.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't think you should pay for digital games full stop anyway.
No. But,
unless it's like a small downloadable indie game or whatnot, I think that's fine. But if it's a full price title and stuff, no.
Yeah. So that's Blizzard, but also something similar with Microsoft in regards to moderation. So basically, if you're reported and stuff, it's all automated now. So basically, they've got rid of all their customer service people in this regard, and it's been replaced with AI. So and it's been So basically,
what could go wrong?
Yeah, so basically, there's already been loads of complaints, and this is on WindowsCentral.com, which is quite a regarded site, saying that people are getting the free strikes on their Xbox accounts and getting banned, and then they're having to go through loads of faff to fucking try and get their accounts back. Which is absolutely ridiculous.
In other news, I did see over the weekend that players of the Xbox version of Final Fantasy XIV are getting bans because they're posting in group chats and stuff saying looking for free company, etc., and all that kind of stuff. And apparently the word free company and a multiple bunch of other words that are picked out in like Microsoft's selected thing of like you can't say these words in chat and all of that lot.
Yeah.
Is getting people like 2-month bans and stuff.
What?
Yes, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
And this is also on top of the weird thing I heard a few weeks ago where you may possibly need Xbox Live as well as the subscription for 14 to play it.
Yes, that's 100% true.
And also, Microsoft have invented their own Final Fantasy currency that you need to use to purchase game time and in-game items.
So fucking
because Microsoft wants a cut of the sales.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
For the in-game DLC items and your game time, which Square Enix do not do on PC or PlayStation.
Yeah.
So there might be multiple reasons why it took so long to get that game onto Xbox.
Yeah.
God.
Fucking bullshit.
Awesome.
My last piece of news, which I think is quite interesting, is that some publishers have apparently been speaking to some outlets, and they're at the minute questioning their support for Xbox because sales have completely plummeted in Europe. So basically, obviously, games are selling well on the PlayStation, but not on the Xbox. And a few publishers and developers have said that they think that Xbox, as a hardware platform, is in a lot of trouble at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, Europe, interesting.
Yeah, in honesty, Europe has generally been a PlayStation centric sort of area.
Yeah, it always has been. Yeah,
consoles, and it's mainly the Americas that have been like huge proponents for the Xbox ecosystem.
Yeah.
So that's not surprising. I mean, we have noticed over the time, like we said, there's no reason to technically own an Xbox if you have a PC.
Yes.
Or even a television like I own. I don't need an Xbox. I can stream Game Pass through my television if I really want a probably horrible experience. But I have that option. And Microsoft have always toyed with this idea of like, oh, well, you can just have it straight to your access to your thing and all this, that, and the rest of it. So that will put off people buying the console if you're removing the need for you to buy the console.
Well, also now they're putting their exclusives on PlayStation as well. That's another...
Yeah, not all of them.
No.
I see there was an uproar because apparently both Pentiment and Hi-Fi Rush, is that the other one that came out?
Yeah.
Both run better apparently on the PS5 compared to the Xbox versions.
Lols. Apparently Sea of Thieves is in the top 5 pre-orders on the PlayStation Store as well.
I'm not surprised after bloody Skull and Bones, which I've no idea what's going on with that. But I actually watched like a breakdown video for that, and I'm sure someone in that breakdown video said like the game runs at like 700 and something p.
Wow.
In quality mode.
What?
On both the series consoles and PS5.
That's fucking nuts.
And that's the only way you can actually play the game at a good frame rate.
Wow.
And then in other fantastic live service news, this week saw the release of the Joker thing into Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
I've seen this,
right. Is that game still live, is it?
I think it's on live support, or if not, it will be now. Apparently it takes like a monumental grind to unlock the character if you're not just going to buy him outright. And to unlock him, you basically just have to regrind apparently the same 3 missions of Endgame over and over and over to earn enough points, which is what everyone's been doing since like they finished the game anyway.
Wow.
And then the game also added a battle pass with I think it's got 75 or 76 levels to it, which is kind of a weird number to have. You'd think it'd either be 50 or 100. And I watched like an Angry Joe video on it, and he basically explained that you get 50 points towards each level of the battle pass for every mission you complete. And you need, 1,000 battle pass points for every level in the battle pass.
What?
Yeah, I think he said you need to grind those levels. Was it 1,400 times to unlock them all?
Something like that.
That's ridiculous.
So you even if you set yourself like to do 20 of those missions every day for the time that this battle pass is active, you'd just probably be able to do that before it runs out.
Wow.
or something. I've got no idea what the hell is going on in the industry nowadays. I really don't. Where someone's just like, yeah, it sounds fair. It sounds like a good idea. Whereas, like, there's multiple battle passes out there that you can kind of burn through reasonably easy, or at least get through in, like, not as much of an annoying stress-free thing where it's like you're going to be locked into this for the next 2 months permanently if you want to get everything.
Mm-hmm.
When people have other games to play, other much better games to play, or other games that are actually coming out.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. I mean, apparently Final Fantasy XIV delayed its new expansion by a week because the Elden Ring DLC's coming out on the day they originally wanted to put it out. And they knew a lot of their fan base would want to play the Elden Ring DLC, so they put the game back a week. And it also helps the fact that Yoshida is a gamer himself. And he's probably going to be wanting to play Elden Ring DLC when it comes out.
Mad.
Wow.
It's kind of weird that when some of these games fail, rather than actually sort of get on their knees and grovel and apologise, they just strap on a suicide vest.
I know. And then they blame the gamers for being sexist or racist for not buying their game. Instead of just
not necessarily when it comes to that. They should just know that it's a bad game or whatnot.
Oh, dear.
Crazy.
Bizarre. And more companies, and more companies are trying to chase that trend of the always online live service type of a game structure.
Yeah.
And yet more and more games that come out like Skull and Bones, and I suppose in a good way they're going to put people off those games. Outside of, say, something like Helldivers, which does it in a completely different way, where it's nowhere near as egregious and it seems quite fair, and at the end of the day there's a fun gameplay loop behind it all. It's not asking you to constantly do the same thing over and over and over again, because you're going into missions where it's completely dynamic and different random things can constantly happen.
Yeah.
The areas look different, the enemies are different, etc. Like, even for this new Suicide Squad thing, they haven't changed, and there's no new enemy types or anything in it. It's literally everything you've already been doing since it came out.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's all my news anyway. I couldn't find anything else.
Oh, there's been other stuff. I mean, you've got this whole, what is it, like Gamergate got an update and a patch, apparently. Journalists are trying to push it to happen, all starting with some group that was started on Steam.
Oh, that's that Sweet Baby thing.
The Sweet Baby Inc. detected Steam group, where it lets everyone know what games Sweet Baby Inc. have worked on, even though it's on their own website anyway.
Well, they've actually taken it off their website now. So basically, I actually joined that Steam group because it's quite interesting seeing all the comments and stuff. But all the guy who made the group wanted to do was just tell people what games had been involved with this group.
Company,
yeah. And then obviously there's been a lot of backlash, and one of the people that work there, one of their CEOs, I think, actually joined the group and was slagging them off, saying, "Oh, you're all bigoted, blah 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 blah." But then there was a big backlash against that on Twitter and stuff, and then the Sweet Baby website actually took off their website all the companies that they worked for, because people were messaging all the companies just saying, "What the fuck are you doing?" So there's been a little bit of a backtrack because of, all the games that they've been involved with have just been shite.
I wouldn't say all of them, but there's been
lot of them have.
big things in multiple games that they've worked on, and then kind of like when certain things like God of War Ragnarok, we'll just take as an example. I didn't know they worked on that.
Yeah.
But then after I found out, then was like, oh, they worked on that. Ah, that's why that's in. Now it makes sense.
Yeah. And It's just quite interesting, just taking an outside view on it and seeing what was going on. That this group was set up just to let people know, and the people that work, one of the higher ups that worked there actually was slagging them off and calling them all sorts of names on social media and stuff and making the company look really bad.
It wasn't just
because
that.
of it.
They actually, like, employees of that company launched a harassment campaign against the guy who set the group up.
Yes. Yeah.
Trying to get his entire Steam account banned, which would mean he'd lose access to his digital library of all the games that he owns on that platform.
Yeah. It's fucking sad, isn't it?
It's just bullying. I mean, the funny thing is after stuff they'd be like, oh, no, that's not what we're thinking. It's like, we've got the videos of you actually saying this shit in conferences and stuff. It's there.
Yeah.
It's right there. We've got the evidence of you saying exactly what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
You're threatening companies, basically, unless they make the changes you want.
Yeah.
And companies are hiring you as a consultancy group, so you can come in and say, change that character, can't do this, can't do that, change that, take that out, that's this, that's that. And I think that's horrendous for artistic expression.
Yes, 100%.
You should just allow people to create what they want to create. And the more and more this is happening in the industry, you're kind of understanding where we are with gaming as a whole now.
Well, it's just copying the movie industry, isn't it? Because I think that's been going on in the movie industry.
And look how well that's going.
Yeah, I know.
Don't get me wrong, like I said before, we still get great movies here and there, but amongst the rest of it, it's just loads of stuff I'm not interested in. Just like, I've got zero interest in any of that. Look at our television we've got nowadays. It's like trying to find a diamond in the rough.
Yeah. I know, mate.
Before you switch over through your TV channels. Oh, this looks all right. 5 minutes later, you're rolling your eyes. Next. You know what I mean? And then after a while, you're just like, oh, fuck it, I'll just give up.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just the slow demise of many games, and it's just sad to see, really, that this shit is going on,
I mean, it's perfect. Don't get me wrong, it's perfectly fine. You can do that to games. But then if you're doing that to certain games, you don't then have the right to complain when other people are making games that they actually fully want to make. And then you get upset because your game doesn't do particularly well, because guess what? The stuff you were trying to sell, we weren't fucking interested in.
Yeah.
I mean, I've joked before when we've watched E3 and stuff, where I've literally said, like, that game looks really good, that game looks okay, that game looks good. Don't know who they're for, mind.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then shock horror, that game sells like shit, and you're like, I'm not surprised. And then they typically go into their classic defensive mode and start calling people names and stuff.
Yeah.
Like attacking their customer bases. In no facet has attacking your customers ever gone well.
Yeah.
And then because obviously it's all this fucking stupid political shit in with it, they end up getting certain gaming websites and publications to defend them, and then you get this back and forth throwing of fucking rocks and stuff on social media. It's just so tiresome.
Yeah.
It's just so tiresome. I think all of us just can we just leave it over? Like, at the end of the day, just let them do what they want to do. Let it die. If that's the way it's going to go, just let it die out. It eventually will. And just buy what you want to buy and play what you want to play.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just got to the point now where it's just so boring, just like this constant back and forth shit, when it didn't exist years ago. It just didn't exist like this years ago.
The only reason I get really upset about it, as people might know in the Discord and stuff, and that's only because I love my hobby, and I just feel like my hobby has been ruined the last 5 to 10 years because of a lot of this stuff, and it's just frustrating. That's all. So
I mean, like the easiest thing is imagine if like the painting of the Sistine Chapel, while that was being done, someone's coming, oh, cover that up, change that, move that. I don't like that. Just, you know what I mean? Oh, put stuff out. If it sells, it sells. If it doesn't, it doesn't. The market dictates.
yeah. Well, hopefully Xbox will learn, because Phil Spencer came out and said he doesn't know why his games aren't selling as well, and he's blaming capitalism. I've read, and I was thinking, well, it's because your games are coming out either broken or you're pushing this fucking politics into your games worse than any other system.
I wouldn't necessarily say that. Sony fucking started it all back in the midway through the PS4's life cycle.
Yeah, but I think Xbox is pushing it a lot more now.
Everyone is so scared, so utterly petrified of like some media backlash.
I know.
From such a small percentage of people who generally don't give a shit and aren't going to buy your product anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you get that classic meme, don't you, where like it's like, look at this, and it's like, oh, I don't like that. Well, our fan base likes that. Well, your fan base are this, this, and this. All right, then we'll change it. And then they change it, and they're like, all right, we've changed it. Are you going to buy it now? No, I never was. And then they're like, turn to their fans and like, do you want to buy this? And they're like, no. What the fuck is that?
Yeah. That's the problem. Cool.
Yeah, I just want it all to end. I think everyone just wants it just to end. Just
yeah.
Just there's no Gamergate 2 or whatever. I didn't even pay much attention to the original Gamergate back in the day. It was that spiraled into something completely different from what it was originally supposed to be, which was basically about backhanders going on between companies and reviews, wasn't it?
I thought the whole Gamergate was about how women were portrayed in video games, and
No. It all started off because apparently someone who created an indie game was basically sleeping with people from this website for favourable reviews for their game.
Oh, right.
And people found out about it, and then it kicked off all this shit, and then all the sexism stuff started getting brought in, and even what I've just said there's probably like nothing of what it was, but that was the gist of it I got.
Right.
But yeah, it all started with social media, which was a huge fucking mistake.
Funny that.
Yeah.
It hasn't done any good for humanity. It's just made it worse.
Yeah, so I very rarely go on Twitter anymore. That's why I love the Discord so much, because there's not really much outside influence at all. It's just we're chatting shit about games and that's it. You know what I mean?
I mean, it can't be good. It generally can't be that good, like for people in the majority. I mean, I even see adverts on television now aimed at obviously like teenagers and stuff, where they're like, "Do you have mental health issues? Do you need to see a therapist?" And I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, never had none of that stuff back in my day.
Yeah.
No.
This constant bombardment of information that young people have as their minds are developing and stuff. They're connected to the internet all the time.
Yeah, it's not healthy, is it?
Things are going really well. Like I actually said, and there's a few other people, I think the last decade of entertainment and generally life with people getting on with each other and all of that kind of stuff, this last decade, it's been the worst I've ever known since I've been alive.
Yeah.
Like the 80s, fine, 90s, fine, 2000s, fine, 2010s, fine, and then just, what the fuck? It just all went tits up.
Yeah. Well, at least we've got video games, eh?
For now.
Yeah.
Well, you've got the whole library, all your back catalogues, mate, of all your old systems.
Yeah, true. Soon you'll get to that point where you'll only be able to play the games that certain factions or governments or companies will allow you to play. that they deem good for you to play.
And then I'll just go back to my old eras, mate, and be a retro gamer like Nick.
Nice.
But yeah, outside that, I suppose that's been the bigger news story over the thing, even though it's typically not really news. It's just the typical social media back and forth bullshit.
Yeah. But it's been quite interesting to see, because I never knew about this company before this, and it's just been quite interesting seeing what games they were involved
I'd heard
with.
of them before. I'd definitely heard of them before. But they're like the tip of the iceberg. Like a lot of companies. I mean, you've heard of the classic. Was it Square Enix ethics department?
Yes, and that's why Forspoken was such a pile of trash.
Well, no, that was Sweet Baby. But we're involved with that one. But obviously, like, it was the Square Enix ethics department that caused a lot of like censorship in like some of the Square stuff.
Yeah.
And changing them for things. Shock horror. I don't buy Japanese games for them to be just like Western games.
Yeah.
I don't buy Western games for them to be like Japanese games. I buy games from different regions because they offer different experiences. I enjoy films and entertainment. I visit other countries to absorb their culture and their way of life and to enjoy that country for what it is. I don't want it to be almost exactly from like where I am.
Yeah.
Stop trying to turn everything into homogenized shit. Because when everything's boring sludge, nothing stands out.
Yeah. There we go. Wise words from Sensei Switch there.
Or is it just random bullshit from a decaying mind? Who knows?
And on that note, I think we're about at the end. We've been going for almost 3 hours. So that's an hour for every week you've missed. There we go.
Nice.
Unless you guys have got anything else you want to say.
Not particularly.
No, I think I'm good.
Cool.
Turn the Halon Collider back on. That might have caused everything. We never know. We might now be living in a weird alternate reality version of the world we once lived in, where everyone's now mental.
Sometimes I feel like we are. If you want to watch an interesting TV show, kind of about that, before we end, on Netflix, there's a show called The Free Body Problem.
Oh, right, yeah, I've heard of this. It's based on a series of books, isn't it?
It's really good. Me and the missus binged it in a couple of days this past week. Fantastic show.
Have either of you seen Shogun?
Not yet.
Oh,
no.
That's really good so far. Really good.
Disney Plus, isn't it?
I thought it was on the Steez, mate. But yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, cool.
I'll check out.
Yeah, sweet. Sweet dude. All right, then. Well, on that note, then, we're going to end it here. It's been emotional. So, for me, Mark Webb, Gamer Tag, Piss on D, Steam ID, Webby, 360G.
And from Graham or GHamX14.
And Sensei Switch.
So, from all of us here, it's been great. Thank you very much. We will see you next week. Goodbye. There we go.
So you just said you had Netflix, didn't you, Webby?
Yes.
Yeah. Have you watched The Gentleman yet?
No, Mrs. don't want to watch it, so we've got
Yeah. It's like I've watched 4 episodes of it. It's decent so far.
Guy Ritchie.
I believe he's involved. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's loosely
I've heard
based.
a lot of people talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously new characters and stuff, but pretty much a similar idea of what's going on. It kind of reminds me in a way of, do you remember the Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels TV series?
Yeah.
No, I remember
where
the
it was
film,
kind of like,
Yeah, the film was fantastic. I mean, I've loved all of like Guy Ritchie's gangster sort of style films. I think they've all brilliant in their own way. Filled with like interesting characters, snappy dialogue, amusing humour, dark humour.
Nice.
And that, I found that quite fun as well.
Cool.
Back in here.
We'll have to go and have a look at that.
I'd say it's definitely worth like watching at least like the first few episodes of it. You'll get a rough idea of kind of where it's coming from.
Cool, man.
Let's go check it out.
And then you got House of Dragon, new series coming out in a couple of months as well, I think. First season of that I thoroughly enjoyed.
Nice. Cool. Oh, dude, well, it's 11 o'clock.
And I don't have to get up early tomorrow, thank God.
Bastard.
Bastard that I don't have to get up early.
Yeah, I hate getting up early.
No, I thought you meant like you bastard that you don't have to get up early, as in like, oh, you should be getting up early every day.
No, I'm
I was
jealous.
technically I was up at 2 o'clock in the morning the other day. You know, the day the clocks went forwards.
Yeah.
Because we're now in the horrible time zone. So yeah, I went to bed about, I think it's about 9:30. Then I was up at like 2 o'clock.
Right.
Even though technically it was like 3 o'clock in the morning at that point, and then I laid there unable to fall back to sleep, and then I had to go to work, which was great.
Oh dear.
Right,
well, I'm going to head off. I'll see you guys soon.
All right, take it easy, mate. See you later.
Bye, mate.
Bye,
Darren. See you, Graham.
All right,
Bye, Darren. I'm going to go because I'm going to get ready for bed.
Yeah, I need to get ready for bed and crash out as well.
Can't believe how late it is.
Hopefully I'll be able to go out like a log tonight.
Yeah, me too. I didn't go up till 10 o'clock this morning. Couldn't believe it.
I think I might have a liqueur and a ciggy or something before I pass out.
Sounds divine.
Well, I'm working tomorrow, but it's a shortest shift, and then I'm off for a few days. So I think I'll celebrate that fact, and that I'm not up at 4 a.m. in the morning for once. That's horrible, man. I don't mind it the first. It's not too bad when your body's in tune with it. But when you are in that mood, you are literally like, go to work, come home, eat something, sort yourself out, maybe have an hour to yourself, and then off to bed. And then it's like rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. When I've done entire weeks like that, it just feels like the whole week's just like one or two shifts, like just done. Because it feels like you're at work the whole time, and then you're home hardly, and you're asleep the rest of it, and then you're back at work. That's probably why our it feels like as we get older, time passes quicker when it technically doesn't, obviously. But because you're in a routine of doing the same thing over and over and over again, it just makes it feel like it goes quicker than it is.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're a kid, it's like, oh, one minute you're off down to town to see what's down the shops. The next you're like cycling through woods.
Yeah.
The next you're like climbing a tree or something, or breaking into a school and running over the roofs. It's random stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will catch you at some point, probably in the week or next weekend.
Yeah, did you say, are you podcasting next week? Yeah?
Yeah, I should be podcasting next week. You can do it on the Saturday as normal, should be fine.
Sunday.
If people are about, yeah. Obviously, because it's usually on the Sunday, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, because
so,
I like doing
are we...
Go on.